What's up, Silver and Black Nation? Welcome to the Silver and Black Lair Las Vegas Raiders edition. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry, and with me today, my draft guru, your draft guru, my good friend, your good friend, everybody's good friend, Mr. Paul Spencer. Paul, give everybody a little wave there.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Thanks, Ken.
Hey, Paul, just in case you didn't know, today's show is brought to you by Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. You can reach Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey. His office in New Jersey is located in Cherry Hill on 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. And he has 2 offices located in Pennsylvania, one in Philly on 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number 267-888-2980. And one in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. If you reach out to Jason Fine, be sure to let him know that you are a part of the Out of the Box Sports family, and he'll hook you up with a great deal. And yeah. Our friend, your friend, Mr. Big Al.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy. Heard he's a really good attorney.
A very nice man. Very nice
Yes,
man.
he is. Yes, he is.
Helping the little people.
That's
what
right.
that's what you like to hear.
Yes.
So, Paul, how are you doing this fine? I guess it's a Friday night, right? It feels like a Saturday. I don't know, with the holiday being today. For some reason, it just feels like a Saturday. I mean, I guess do people still celebrate Good Friday? You think?
I don't know. I mean, I went to church earlier today and it was pretty packed out there today. So I was like, wow, there are some good, either once a year Catholics or the religious Catholics. I don't know, but I didn't judge them. But Ken, I just want to say thank you for that opening, man. I mean, I'm not a guru. I'm just a person that says something, to my opinion. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I appreciate that opening, Ken. Thank you so much.
You got it. Anybody that says anything and has an opinion on something, they're a guru to me. So, I mean, so it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. I don't know. A watered down guru. That's everybody's a guru. But I mean, so what? It's funny you bring that up. When I think of guru, I think of somebody that has extensive knowledge in a subject that not a lot of people have extensive knowledge. I mean, not everybody watches a whole lot of college football. I mean, a lot of people do watch college football, but they don't really watch college football. I feel like the way you do. I've heard you talk college football here on Out of the Box Sports so many different times with your college football show that you had with Bill Furman and such. Your Golden Dome podcast, which will be returning hopefully coming this fall. Yes. Or I guess the summer. I believe the summer, right? You're gonna.
I'm thinking I'm gonna bring it back in August, first week of August, when like a couple weeks before the season starts. Talk about the roster and moves and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I've heard you talk college football before, and you know your crap. So
thank you.
To me, you are a guru. You know your stuff, and
appreciate it.
And I don't watch a whole lot of college football. I just don't have the time for it. Usually, I'm pretty busy on a Saturday. Usually, if I do watch college football, it's a late night game, one of those West Coast matchups where you have the Mountain West Conference scoring 60 points, each team and stuff, and it's a lot of fun to watch. But not a whole lot of substance or sustenance there. So, all right. So let's kick this off here. I got a couple of questions I want to ask you before we really dive into it. So Paul, let's say you're GM, okay, for any team. You're a Cowboy fan. Let's say you're a GM for Cowboys. How do you attack the first round? Like, do you attack it best, player available, or do you attack it by team need? Because I heard this come up a whole lot the last few years, and before that, I never really heard about how to draft the first round. Whether it's best on the board or best available. I just never heard that before until the last couple seasons. It seems to be a bigger topic. How would you attack that?
I mean, first, I think it's to each and every team what their needs are, Ken. I mean, in regards to my team, we need holes filled, Ken. There's not just one. There's at least 3 to 4 to 5, honestly, that's that deep. Quarterback, we're fine. Offensive line, maybe we're okay. But defensive end, running back, wide receiver is a definite must. Defensive safety, there's a lot of must. But sitting at 12, honestly, at that point, you have your board 1, 2, on each board, offensive line, this position, that player. If one's gone, and then for some reason those 11 players are gone when you're sitting at 12, then to me it becomes I can't fill this hole. I can't fill this hole. I think it's best player available. Or then again, you might move back and get more assets too if you have that. But I think if you're one player away, you go all out to get that player. I really think that's the way to do it. But when you have so many holes to fill, Ken, you can't win with one player coming in, especially from college. I don't care who they are. It's not going to be a plug and play, 5-5-12 team to 17-0. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it takes a whole lot more through free agency and all that other stuff, and sometimes a little bit of luck. And we seen it last year with the Raiders, right?
Right.
They picked 12, and they lost out on all those quarterbacks, all those
Right.
top notch quarterbacks that were picked. I guess 1 through 11. And I think the Broncos took Bo
Bo
Nix
Nix.
right before the
Yeah.
Raiders were set to pick. And I do believe that if the Broncos didn't take Bo Nix there, that he would have fell to the Raiders. And well, obviously would have fell to the Raiders, but the Raiders would have taken him, and we wouldn't have gotten Brock Bowers. But there were so many different holes. And last year, necessarily the Raiders didn't, at least the fan base didn't view the tight end position as a whole. But the Raiders looked at the best player on their board, and they took Brock Bowers, and it turned out pretty well. It really did. It turned out really well, to be honest with you. And it's just one of those deals. Like, not one player that was on that draft board was going to turn the Raiders around from a stink hole to a polished turd. It was still going to be a stink hole no matter what. And it's just stunk a little bit less. That's all. I mean, record wise, but for the player that we got, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, you got a generational player in Brock Bowers. I mean, he's a hybrid tight end, Ken, and when he leads your team basically in reception and yards, there's nothing you can argue that it was the wrong pick. It was the right pick at the right time. No quarterback really fell that deep to you. You really didn't think of anything. Even Bo Nix going before you, Ken. Nobody really thought that him, playing from Oregon, coming in there, lighting up the league like he did under Sean Payton. I didn't even expect that, honestly, Ken.
Yeah, and neither did I. I still think Sean Payton's overrated, but he really he has the Bronco team on the right path, it seems like, and that pisses me off something fierce. If you ever watch this show, you know my feelings on the Broncos.
Are they the ponies, Ken? Are they the ponies?
They are the donkeys, the ponies, a whole lot of other kind of horse related type things. We got a comment here from Michael Papernick. He says, "I'm an Eagles fan. If I was drafting, I'm going defensive tackle or edge or safety. If there's a player I like a lot and I can move up, I'm moving up." And that's the other thing. Before we really dive into the Raiders, first couple of rounds here, or players that I like, and get Paul's opinion on these guys. That's the one thing is if there's a player you like, moving up, and if there's nobody you really like, and you're kind of stuck a little bit, dropping back. And there's a couple of ways when you're out of that top 5 to 7 range, you're out of that range there. That's where you look at, do I have enough to move up, or should I just drop back and accumulate picks? And that's where that's almost kind of where I see the Raiders at a little bit, sitting at number 6. There's no, I feel like there's no franchise quarterback in this draft. Like a guy that comes out and takes your franchise for the next 10 to 12 years, and makes them competitive, makes them a winner year in and year out. I don't feel like there's a guy in this draft. And there's a possibility that I feel like there's a possibility the Raiders could drop back and accumulate more picks. The running, one of the needs the Raiders have, major needs, is running back. And there's been a ton of talk about Ashton Genty going to the Raiders at 6. But with it being so deep this year, I wouldn't have a problem with the Raiders, dumping back a little bit, accumulating more picks, maybe getting a second round pick or another third round pick, just by swapping first rounders, and looking at running back maybe a little bit later, or even at that, if you drop back to 11, or like you said, the Cowboys 12, Cowboys big need is running back, dropping back there, and looking at maybe Omarion Cameron,
Hampton.
Well, Omarion Hampton, that's it. Was he from North Carolina, right?
North Carolina.
So I think he's a second ranked running back. I mean, it might be a little bit high for him. I'm not really 100% sure where he would be on the big board, but it's super deep with running back, and you can get a running back early second round that you feel really comfortable with starting day one. So
I mean, Ken, there's 5 running backs that I really are very high on. I mean, I think they possibly could go in the first round for a needed team. Jonte's number 1, of course, which You talked about maybe drafting, moving back in. Listen, if I'm at 12, that's my number one need. I mean, I think he's a generational player coming from Boise State. Ken, if I switch 5 and 12 with you, how about I give you a second round pick for next year? I'll take that anytime to move up. But Ken, when you drop back 7 positions, now you can hold the farm on somebody. You're going to be giving up first and seconds, like crazy now. I mean, people want that player, and you hold the mortgage on the other team, basically. So it's hard to move up now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's what are you willing to give up to get that player? And
Right.
that's the thing. It seems like
Right.
teams are a little bit more stingy. I got a couple more comments here from
Mhm.
Michael Papernick. Said, do you think Pete Carroll could run a 2 tight end offense like New England did with Gronk and Hernandez? The Raiders have 2 good tight ends. I don't
Mhm.
know. It's Mike. I guess the jury's still out on Michael Mayer. I still believe in Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
The Raiders didn't seem to use him
Hmm.
the last 2 seasons since they've drafted him, and there has been a ton of rumors about the Raiders possibly looking to trade him to accumulate picks or what have you. I still want him around. I still think that the Raiders could use him and Brock Bowers as that the Patriots 2 tight end set
Hmm.
like Michael mentions here, and I think it's a possibility, but whether or not
Hmm.
that's what they do. Like I said, a lot of rumors floating around about Michael Mayer being possibly traded. And another rumor that I heard a lot of the last week and a half is that New Orleans wants and needs a quarterback, maybe a trade with your Raiders. And there was I didn't see anything official, but there was some rumors and speculation that Derek Carr has a shoulder injury and may
Yeah.
be out for the season already.
Yes.
So I mean I didn't see anything official on that, Paul. I don't know if you see anything
Yeah, I mean,
official.
right now it's the same thing. And it's speculation that he could be
Yeah,
out the entire season, but I think he's, a second or third opinion may be valid here. We don't know yet. Plus, we're still 4 months away from the
yeah.
opening day too.
And that's the thing. It's still a good bit away from opening day. But if you're the Saints, you got to make a decision now. If you think that Sanders drops to the Raiders at 6,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say for all intents and purposes, Sanders does drop to the Raiders. At 6, Sanders is still on the board at 6. Me personally, I don't think the Raiders go for him. If I'm the
Right.
Raiders, I don't go for him. But the Saints need a quarterback, and the Saints say, we need Sanders. We want to get Sanders.
Hmm.
And the Raiders like, hey, we're going to pick Sanders. If you want him, let's work something out.
Yeah.
And then it happens. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't.
If Shador passes you guys, I don't think the Saints make a move, because if you look who's behind you, you have the Jets, Panthers right after that. They don't need quarterbacks. They have
No.
Justin Fields. Panthers are still believing in Bryce Young. They don't have to move up at all, because there's still going to be 2 great quarterbacks in my eyes. A Jackson Dart, who I'm not really high on, Ken, but they really seem to like this kid. Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss, and Shador. I mean, those are 2 plug and play players that could be franchise players. Young, Jackson Dart's a 4-year starter. Shador's took 2 teams basically from nothing to what they become. So I wouldn't move up if I'm the Saints. I'd stay right where I'm at, Pat, right there at 9.
Oh, is that so? They're at 9.
Yeah, they're at
Okay,
9. Mhm.
I knew
Yeah.
they were ahead of the Cowboys, but for some reason I
Hmm.
thought they were a little bit closer. I thought they were like 11 or so.
Hmm.
But yeah, so if he does make it to 6 of the Raiders and Raiders don't take him, yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Why even trade up then? But
Right.
if I'm the Raiders, I kind of flirt that with him, see what you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Swap your first rounds, and
Mhm.
you're not in a whole lot of trouble. And especially if Genty's off the board by then, and
Yeah.
Sanders faulty, it's a little bit more plausible that, hey, there's a chance we may take him. What do you want? What are you willing to give up for this guy?
Mhm.
And again, if I'm New Orleans, I don't know if I do that. I don't know. I just don't feel. So let's say Derek Carr is out. All right, let's say
Mhm.
Derek Carr is done for the season, and they're looking to go with to draft a quarterback. Like for what? Like I don't know if any of these guys are day one starters that are that Cam
Y-
Ward and Shador Sanders. It's
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree with you, Ken. Well, last year they took a reach on Spencer Rattler, coming from
Yeah.
Oklahoma to South Carolina. They took a reach on him. He started 3 games. Ken, he won one of the games. He looked pretty good, but I wouldn't take another reach this year, because quarterbacks are a dime a dozen. Cam Ward is the number 1 quarterback, but again, he hasn't sold me to be the franchise quarterback. Shador
No.
hasn't, done that either. You're taking a flyer on these guys. To me, yeah, I understand you're a quarterback, but the Saints aren't going to be in the top, 5 teams next year, Ken. They're going to be right
No.
back in the lottery in the top 10 basically next year. Next year, Go out and get the best offensive tackle, the best wide receiver if it's available. Go out and get your quarterback. Put all your eggs in a basket with Spencer Rattler. That's what I would do right now if I'm them. Too many
Uh,
holes.
Absolutely, and maybe look for that journeyman quarterback or whatever
Hmm.
that you can get for a
Right.
decent contract and go
Yep.
from there. That
Hmm.
if I'm the Saints, that's kind of what I would look at too.
Yeah.
But if I'm the Raiders, I'm trying to entice the Saints a little bit, just kind of dangle that out there and see what I can get.
Oh, you're
Uh,
always going to have your phone on, ready to
yeah.
pause. I mean,
Oh my
who's
God.
calling
Yeah.
you? It's ready to go. You want to trade? What's even though you don't want to, you want to hear the offers, Ken.
Especially knowing what these teams
Oh yeah. Hmm.
behind you are really pining for. Again, like I said, we mentioned earlier about the Cowboys really needing that running back, and we know the Cowboys brand is so huge, and
Hmm.
when they're not winning,
Yeah.
it just doesn't set well. It
Hmm.
doesn't set well with the fan base, doesn't set well with ownership, it doesn't set well with the GM who is the ownership,
Hmm.
and you want that shiny new toy. That's why they need that running back. And hey, Ashton Genty's here. What do you want to do? And
Yeah, I
stuff
mean,
like that.
if it's me, Ken, if I'm the GM for the Cowboys, I am going to make a call to you. After the fourth pick,
Yeah.
I am going to call you and say, hey, look, you know what we want. You're thinking about picking Jonte, but listen, what can we offer you? What will it take to get him? What can we do? What would it cost me? Because you're going to field all calls, Ken, no matter what.
So here's the like I said, a ton of rumors with Ashton Jonte
Hmm.
going to the Raiders at 6, and like we just talked about the Cowboys, maybe wanting to trade up for him. His workload this past season was just huge. Would that give
Yeah,
you any pause? I mean, it gives me a little bit of concern. I mean, he's a bigger type looking running back anyway.
mhm,
Maybe I'm wrong with that, but he
he's
looks
huge.
pretty thick, and the dude got hit a lot this year. He ran the ball a lot, caught the ball a
Mhm.
good bit. Does that make you nervous at all?
I'll speak on my team, Ken. It does bother me because, watching Boise State, you're putting 9 and 10 guys in the box, Ken. They had nothing else except him to run the ball. He averaged 120 yards per game, no matter who they played. Even Penn State, I mean, they shut him down. Second half, he came out, still got 100 yards on his own. But to me, Ken, I'm a little worried about that because of the fact that I go back to Zeke his first 2 years. They ran him to the ground. And this wasn't even in college. He was an explosive back at Ohio State, but he didn't get that many carries, in Ohio State. He didn't need to. They were so loaded. But DeMarco Murray, same thing with the Cowboys, ran him to the ground.
Oh yeah.
I am worried, Ken, because college is a different animal than the pros, Ken. But when you got so much tread on your tires from college in 4 years, it does show you, it's a little bit of a arthritis in the knees, maybe somewhere, So I don't want a running back in the top 10. I never thought I would say that. I mean, learning from Ezekiel Elliott, but you got to use them the right way, Ken. You have to use them the
Yeah.
right way. I'm scared to take him at 6, though. I want him, but I'm scared to take him even at 12 right now.
And that's where I'm at with Genty as well. Is
Hmm.
is 6? I want him because I know
Yeah,
it's a big need for the Raiders.
sure.
But at 6, with the workload that he had, especially last season, 374 carries,
Yeah,
2,601 yards, 29 touchdowns, great
mhm.
stats. That's a lot of touches. I mean,
It
and
is.
the first year he might come out there and look like a beast. The second year,
Yep.
looks like a beast. All of a sudden, get into the second year,
Yeah.
a little twinge in the knee. And now that it goes out there the third year, he's not quite the same. The knee's still kind of bother him. All of a sudden, the fourth year, he's out for a whole season because he's getting his knee cleaned up. Then all of a sudden, the fifth year is your option year or whatever.
Right.
What do we have in Genty? He's great these 2 years, and it's just you lose him. You get
Oh yeah.
nothing out of him. You lose any kind of uh stock that you had,
Yep.
possibly in them, you could,
True.
any kind of trade capital or, whatever,
Hmm.
it's all gone then. It's wasted on 2 years where the team probably wasn't even ready to win yet anyway.
Yeah, and that's the perfect example, Ken. I mean, I referred to Ezekiel Elliott at Ohio State. A top drafting him at 4, Ken, but he didn't have the legs, the mileage that Gente had at Boise State because they didn't put 9 in the box versus Ohio State. They had weapons at wide receiver, a quarterback that could throw the ball downfield. He ran against 5-6 man boxes. Jonte ran against 9-10 man boxes, and you're getting not only one hit per down, you're getting 2 or 3 huge hits every down, Ken. And he was a third, 3 down back. He took, just like you said, over 350 carries basically. So
Yeah.
he has a lot of I don't want to say damage. I mean, he's built like a Derrick Henry, but I don't care who you are, Ken. You're going to feel it later on in life.
Well, and that's the thing. The Derrick Henrys, there's not many of them. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
like a guy built like that, taking the beating that he has, and still able to produce year in and year out. it doesn't happen that often. Usually that they break down and that's it.
Mhm. Yeah, agree,
So,
agree.
but Henry's but one of those rare cases where he continues to produce and produce at a high level. So,
Yeah.
uh, another comment here from Michael said the good thing with the trade with the Saints is you would stay in the top 10. If there isn't anything at 10, you could trade down again and get more assets. And that brings me to another possible trade
Mhm.
partner in the Steelers. Again, possibly looking for
Mm,
a quarterback. With who
mm,
knows what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, and
yeah.
they lost both Russ Wilson and Justin Fields, which
Mhm.
surprised the hell out of me. To be 100% with you, Paul, I thought
Yeah.
for sure they were going to re-sign one of those guys. I can't believe they lost both of them. That was really
Yeah.
shocking to me.
Agree, agree. Up,
But
and, I live up near Pittsburgh, Ken, and all the radio, all the beat writers are saying we're looking toward Fields now. Fields is the option here. The next thing you know, oh, Russell Wilson's the option. Within 4 days, Ken, both of them are gone. I'm like,
yeah,
what the hell was going on? Then you bring in Mason Rudolph. What is that? And the only bad thing about this, I love Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. I'm a fan of the game, Ken, but you're holding this team hostage, man. Make a damn decision. Stop. Just make a decision because Ken, we're 1 week away from the draft, man.
yeah,
Make a decision. Is it Jackson Dart? Do we have to move up? Oh, I haven't made my decision yet. Well, then you know what? My option would be as a GM. Screw you. We'll move
absolutely,
away. We'll
100%.
move
And
away. Moving away.
I wouldn't even tell him screw you. I'd say, I'd let him hang then. Like he comes back, okay, yeah, I'd like to sign. We
Yeah.
go, oh no, we've moved on. I'm sorry. Did you not
Mhm.
hear?
Oh
Did you
yeah,
not
we
read
didn't.
that
Oh,
in
we
the
didn't. We didn't
newspaper?
tell you. We didn't tell you. Oh, okay. I thought
It
I
was in
called
the
you.
it was in the Pittsburgh Post Gazette. Did you not read that? You
Exactly.
you don't have
Yes.
an online subscription or what? So,
Right.
but yeah, that's I'm 100% behind you there, Paul. With that, it's
Hmm.
I love to see Aaron Rodgers play at least at a high level. The
Yeah.
Jets last
Yeah.
year it didn't really feel like at a high level, even though
Hmm.
his stats weren't all that bad. But I'd like to see him at least for one more season play at a high level. But he's being a dick. He's being a douchebag. So
Exactly.
you know
Yeah.
what? Oh well. But
Yep.
that's another possible trade partner where it was the Steelers, and drop
But
back.
what
Give these
they're
guys.
what they're at 21, right, Ken? I
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
21. I mean that they Ken, you might have to give up the farm, the firstborn child, and everything keys to the city to move up to number 6 there.
yeah,
I mean, that's a huge jump. I mean, Ken, there are some quarterbacks out there that if Jackson Dart drops, there's a couple more. We're going to talk about quarterbacks, but there's a couple where I'd sit at 21 because there's some dark horses out there that I really love, Ken. That's a
yeah.
lot better than Mason Rudolph. I'll tell you that.
I agree, and we'll get to them in a couple minutes
Hmm.
here. Uh, and also another Raider piece that they've been dangling out there for trade has been Aiden O'Connell. Now I don't know how
Mm.
appealing that is.
Yeah.
Aiden has shown some flashes where he can be a pretty decent quarterback, and there's
Mhm.
been some flashes where he's showed his age, where he's inexperienced and he's young and hasn't had the best team in front of him. In the right situation, I still, and I've said this so many different times on this show. I believe with the right team in front of him, I believe
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell can be a decent quarterback. Not somebody that's going to go out there win MVPs, but somebody that's going to go out there, protect the ball, make big throws. Because we've seen him in in the silver and black make big throws, make
Mhm.
deep throws, down the field and in big spots. And I do believe that he can do that in the right situation. But the Raiders, from what I've been hearing, they have been dangling him out there, and he's been, and all credit to him. He's been hard at work. He's been, one of the first guys in there day in and day out in the film room with Tom Brady, just working on, breaking down coverages and stuff. I mean, what more can you ask from him? Pete Carroll. One of the things that Pete Carroll, uh, preaches is compete, 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 and that's
Right.
what the dude's doing. He's working his ass off, and you know, uh, if anything, it's very much appreciated, and it's not gone unnoticed. So
Mhm. Well, two things to that, Ken. Number one, hold this answer to the end. What is he worth, though? What is Aiden O'Connell worth to you in the draft? Number one. But my thing is Aiden O'Connell. I agree with you. I like watching him in college. He's a good quarterback. But the problem is, how many OCs has he been through, Ken? What weapons has he had? The O line issues, and it's a scheme. I think if you take the time and let him learn and progress, and I think the best mentor to him is Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a QB whisperer in that film room. He's going to show you the right way, when to do this, when to hold on the ball, what decisions to make. I think that could be a great thing for him, honestly. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be, just like you said, the MVP. I disregard that, but he could be a solid quarterback and a bridge quarterback until, if he doesn't work out next year, you're going to be maybe in the top 10 again, Ken. You never know.
yeah, and he's never really gotten a fair shake as a
Right.
starter. But compensation wise, if you were to trade an Aiden O'Connell, I don't really know what you can get for him. If
Yeah.
anything, it'd have to be like a sixth or seventh round, fifth, sixth, seventh round.
Exactly.
I don't even know if you'd get a fifth. I really don't.
Agree.
Um,
Agree.
maybe it also could be just a player swap or something like that. Or it's and again, I don't know exactly what would you get. What would you really get? Long snapper? I don't know because
Yeah. I mean,
he's an unproven quarterback, and he's a backup. I mean,
yeah. I
what
mean,
he
if you
is right
trade,
now.
if you trade him, Ken, for that fifth, say if you get lucky and get a fifth round out there to a quarterback, a team that needs a backup quarterback, or and they're in a quarterback carousel, you get lucky and take the fifth round. But then again, Ken, you're looking at a practice squad player most times in 5, 6,
Yeah,
7. So
yeah,
to me, go ahead and keep him. He's still on a basic rookie 4-year deal, correct?
yep, yep.
Keep him. Just hey, you're paying your quarterback $3 million a year. That's a solid backup money right there, Ken. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And I do hope they keep him. I like Aiden O'Connell. I think
Hmm.
he's a good dude, and two, I like his work ethic.
Yeah.
He shows up, he works hard, and
Mhm.
he's trying to get better. And then one of the things that he improved on this past season, we seen it out in the field, was his mobility in the pocket. He's not
Yeah.
going to run for 100 yards, a whole
Right.
season or anything like that. But we've seen him move in the pocket. We've seen him roll out.
Mhm.
We've seen him move, step up, and stuff like that. So there still was an occasion where he'd stand back there like a statue and get get waffled.
Yeah.
But that comes with time too. Yeah, it
Sure.
really does.
And one of the biggest things, Ken, when they brought in Minshew last year, and he got benched for Minshew quite a few times, and to me, it was just like he didn't lose his composure, Ken. When he was
Yeah,
called to play, he played, and that shows me a lot. Where you got a quarterback carousel, who's playing? You, Ken, this week? I'm playing. We don't know until 3 days before the game. When you go with take the reps with the ones, he didn't lose his composure. That shows me a lot too.
yeah. Another comment here from Michael. He says supposedly Aaron sent the Steelers an 8 number contract. He wants bump Aaron Rodgers and his peyote smoking ass. I hope the Steelers just draft a quarterback. And here's
Yeah.
what I think is going to happen with the Steelers, and I really believe this is
Hmm.
they've been stuck in the middle of the draft for so long. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if they just roll with Mason Rudolph and tank this season to try to draft high, draft a top 5, top 10 pick.
Oh,
It's
Ken,
been a
when was the last time Tomlinson had a losing record? This team plays for him, though, Ken. That's the only thing I can't see.
Well, and Tomlinson's never had a losing record, I
Right.
believe,
That's what I
right?
mean. Never,
I don't think
never.
I think they're above 500 again this year, correct? I think they're
Yes.
9-8.
Hmm.
So I mean, but I mean, again, the fan base. I think the fan base would accept a tank season. I really do because
Mm.
I know a lot of Steeler fans, and that's all you ever hear about is like, oh, always worried about the goddamn Tomlinson's, Mike Tomlin's, winning record,
Yeah. Yeah.
every year in and year out.
Mhm.
Now we're stuck at 18, 19, 20, 21, and all the really top blue chip players are gone by then, which
Yep.
they're not wrong. Those top of the top, the cream of the crop,
Mhm.
are usually gone by then. And
Mhm.
now
N-
you're kind of reaching on some guys, and some guys are safe picks and some guys aren't. And
Right. Well, Ken, up here there is a rumor going around in Pittsburgh. I was up there a couple of days ago at my doctor's office, and I was listening to it. I usually don't listen to the radio, but I just chimed in and listened to it. There's a rumor that I don't know if this is true. Who it was from, a beat writer or someone just called in. A guru that we all call gurus. I don't know what he was, but he said something like, "Did you guys hear the rumor that the Steelers are putting J.J. Watt on the trade block to move up quite a few spots?" Ken, does that intrigue you? 6 to 21 with the J.J. Watt player
oh,
trade?
absolutely, yeah. 6 to 20.
Okay.
If that's all, hey, you want our sixth pick? Yeah, we'll take T.J. Watt. Absolutely. I mean, that's a no brainer.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we need T.J. Watt? I don't think so. But do you turn a T.J. Watt away? Absolutely not. No team would turn
No.
T.J.
No.
Watt away. Even like he's had some recent injury issues
Sure. Sure.
and whatnot.
Mhm.
But still, that's not, you don't turn that guy away.
Yeah. And
Absolutely not.
there's got to be more inside that trade, Ken, because he's
Yeah,
still a first
absolutely.
round demand player on a trade block. So I
Yeah.
can't see that.
It would have to be there would have to be a top notch player to go with that,
Yes.
or it'd have to be
Exactly.
multiple first round picks over the
Hmm.
years, or something crazy.
Agree. Agree.
And Michael says the Eagles got Quinyon Mitchell at 22 last draft. I mean,
Well, you guys got the best cornerback in college football there. He was number 1 on my board coming last year. Then number 3 was Cooper DeJean. So you guys lucked out. I mean, everything, if it falls to you, you get it. Congratulations. But it
well,
happens sometimes.
I did hear a rumor that Howie Roseman did sell his soul to the devil for all this magic that he's been working in Philly. It's just amazing. Everything he touches seems to turn to gold. I don't understand it.
I don't know,
It's
Ken.
just
If
like
there's a
he
book,
can't do
yeah.
wrong. He can't do wrong. I don't.
I'll tell you what, Ken, I went to Barnes and Nobles last week and he was on there, how to finesse dummies in the NFL GMs. I mean, he is the owner of that, but he wrote it. He wrote it, I mean, what he does, Ken, is just amazing. And he's a draft, he's a draft guru. He's a contract guru and he knows how to finesse any GM out there, Ken. He's incredible.
And this wouldn't surprise me. Michael says, I heard the Eagles are
Yeah.
thinking about TJ Watt. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, and they'd probably get him for like a 4th-round pick or something. That's the
Oh,
fucking. It's
yeah.
like, what is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Knowing how he would probably get him. Yeah. But you know what? The Eagles could do something like that. They're sitting at 32, but you really can't do that because nobody wants that 32nd pick with the Eagles. You're going to have to give up. It's going to be a player trade plus incentive plus, down the line future draft picks. But at 32, I can't see the Eagles getting him unless it's just a huge give me your next 19 first-round picks for him. I can't see it. No.
Your whole offensive line for TJ Watt.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And how he could pull that off somehow, though, he would.
Somehow he would.
Yeah.
The son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
So back to the Raiders here at pick 6. So hypothetically, let's say Ashton Genty's gone. The Raiders don't pick Ashton Genty. What are your thoughts on Mason Graham if he were to drop? Do you think that would be a decent pick for the Raiders? The Raiders, the defensive tackle, we're sitting in a decent place right now at defensive tackle with Christian Wilkins. The Raiders re-signed. I said the Mets. The Raiders re-signed Adam Butler. They signed Lakey Fotu. This past offseason. They also have Jonah Lualu.
Yeah.
That's so hard to say for me. Too many L's. But anyway, and U's in there. But so defensive tackle, we're not. I would say we're sitting pretty, but I'm comfortable with defensive tackle. But I feel like if Mason Graham, from everything I've been reading on, like I haven't seen Michigan play a whole lot, to be honest with you. But just reading up on him and stuff, feels like one of the Raiders' biggest bugaboos has been stopping the run. And especially with Raiders losing Spillane at linebacker, their biggest run stopper, the biggest tackler, I really think a run stopping defensive tackle could be what the cure for what ails us. So what are your thoughts if Mason Graham were to fall to 6? Do you think that would be a decent pick for the Raiders?
Well, let me ask you before I answer that, Ken. What do you want to look on side the ball first? Offensive tackle or defense? I mean, defense, you're kind of set. I agree with the run stopping, Ken, but offensive tackle, Ken, you want a franchise guy right there, right? I mean, at 6.
And so that's the other thing is that was my next question for at 6 is Armand Membu. Like what offensive tackle? There was a couple when I was going through the draft stuff. There was a couple of offensive tackles that were listed. Armand Membu was the highest rated according to NFL.com, I believe it was.
Okay.
And so again, I don't know a whole lot. Don't watch a whole lot of college football, but he was the highest rated, and for the most part, I read undersized. But good athleticism, strong, but short arms, whatever, 33.5-inch arms. I mean, that sounds pretty long to me, Paul, but I guess not long enough. So.
Yeah, I guess so. But I disagree with Membu. I think he's number 2 on my board. Ken, I'll give you my number 1 guy, LSU Will Campbell. I think this guy could be a top 3 player to the right team. I don't think he goes 1, 2, and 3 because there's bigger needs. Will Campbell is a hybrid guy, Ken. He 4 years started at LSU. Pass blocking, run blocking, any kind of scheme. And the biggest thing is he's had 42 starts total in college, okay? And he's played every position on the offensive line so far. He started 1 game on all positions, even center again. This guy, to me, he has a motor. He has what they consider long arms. I don't agree with that, but he has long arms. This guy, Ken, is a generational player. That tackle for me right there is a plug-and-play guy. But then again, it comes down to what you said. Do you want to stop that run in this division? I don't know what you want to do, but if it's me at 6, Ken, I'm going offensive tackle here. I got to go Will Campbell. But I do have Membu at number 2. I have Josh Simmons at number 3. I have Kelvin Banks at number 4. And my dark horse is Josh Connolly out of Oregon.
Okay, there we go. You got a whole list of freaking tackles there. Right?
Yeah, I did my homework, Ken. I did my homework. You said do your homework. You said do your homework. Don't come on my show and embarrass me.
I did see Will Campbell's name
yeah.
on NFL.com as the second rated tackle. I thought I wrote him down, but I guess I didn't. I see a whole bunch of other guys.
And you know what? Here's what I have on Membu, Ken. I wrote down my little notes here. He's very strong, but the only issue with him is he takes plays off to me, Ken. He doesn't play up to his potential, and he does struggle against speed defensive edges, Ken. That's my only issue.
And I did read that on him, and
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of film, pointing that out, and you seen
Mhm.
it, those really good edge
Yeah.
defenders, kind of expose them a little bit, and
Mhm.
that's something that the Raiders would be seeing. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but so scheme wise, I like through importance and looking at the Raiders' offensive line, which I
Mhm.
think is getting better. I really
Yeah.
do. Looking at Colton Miller, he banged up last season. He didn't
Mhm.
have his typical Colton Miller type season, but a lot of the experts and I agree with him. He's still one of the better left tackles in the league. I still
Right.
think that's there, that's in him. So I think we're good there, even though he's not reporting to the voluntary camps right now. A little bit of a contract issue. He has no more guaranteed money left on
Mhm.
his contract, so he's looking for guaranteed money, which I
Right.
think is something that will get done. I really do. I think they want Colton Miller around, but looking through that, Colton Miller, Jordan Meredith, who had a really good season, going from a practice squad player 2 years
Yeah.
ago to
Yeah.
working his way to the starting at starting guard, through through I guess injury and also just outplaying guys like Cody
Mhm.
Whitehair last year. JPJ moving from guard to center, which I knew I called that on the show during the season. I said,
Yeah.
especially when he started playing center, and you saw that offensive line starting to gel after a couple of weeks of him starting at center, that he will be our starting center, and that Andre James is either going to be relegated to his backup or released, and the Raiders end up. I think they released him. I don't think they traded him yet. I think they released him.
Mhm.
Dylan Parham, who's always, as far as I'm concerned, and from what I've heard from some Raiders type experts, Dylan Parham has been decent at guard as well. And the other question mark would be last season we had rookie DJ Glaze and Thayer
Right.
Mumford. Thayer Mumford's, I think it was his second season last year, rotating at right tackle. DJ Glaze kind of played uh, better than Thayer Mumford.
Mhm.
Outplayed. That's why outplayed. That's the word I was looking for. Outplayed Thayer Mumford, but again, it wasn't great at right tackle. So right tackle, I think would be a need. But then again, looking at defensive tackle and the issues with stopping the run last year,
Right.
losing Spillane, it's kind of like our defense has been solid for the most part. Last season was a bit of a letdown for half the season, but again, the second half of the season was pretty good, especially after all the injuries that we had. Max Crosby going down, Malcolm Kuntz never even stepping foot on the field.
Mhm.
Just a ton of injuries in the secondary, and the Raiders defense to still play a solid top 15 defense through the second half of the season uh, really showed me a lot. But
Mhm.
to me personally, I feel like you got to look defense.
Okay.
Offensive line. Uh, and the other thing is, how deep in the draft are the defensive tackles and the offensive tackles? I don't know which is deeper. I haven't heard a whole lot on depth for either of those. So
I think this year's an offensive line draft, Ken. I think there's top 10 players that possibly could go in the first round, honestly, 1 through 10. Um, but my question to you is, Colton, can he move to the right side playing from
he
left?
he
Is that a
could
possibility?
he could, yeah, he's played left. I don't know if he played left the whole time he's been with the Raiders,
Okay.
but it's been pretty close. It's been definitely the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay, because that's the reason why I said that. If Will Campbell, if you draft him at 6, I mean, he's a franchise, blindside cube, Q-back helper right there. I'd possibly take him if Colton could move over to the right. You got a staple piece on both ends there, Ken. I mean, I like that option, but you have so many options right now, Ken. I mean, you hold the world at 6. You really do. Um, if Jonte's gone, Ken, I could see go defensive tackle, but don't go running back, Rod. If you lose Jonte, don't go running back in the first and second round because you get some good ones in the third round. There's quite a few of them as well. But man, if it's 6 with me, I can't pass up Will Campbell. I cannot pass him up. Watching so many games he played. There's another guy at guard. I mean, I know you don't need a guard. Emery from LSU. This guy he is just insanely the same way. He could possibly be a left tackle, right tackle next year coming out. That could be, a franchise player as well. But I would go Will Campbell. I don't disagree with you going defensive tackle. I don't disagree with that at all. I really don't. I mean, really don't. It's a good pick as well.
And when I think the problem with offensive line is when you take an offensive lineman early in the draft, it's you always get the groans because it's not a sexy pick, but then it's
Yeah,
always they're always the stabilizer. You know what I mean? Like they're always the unsung heroes.
right.
Like 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road when they're year in and year out Pro Bowlers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's when they're appreciated. It's not
Yeah,
not draft night where it's like, oh, geez, you had this guy available, yeah, you had this guy available yet. Then
yeah,
5 years down the road when they're a stable Pro Bowl
agree.
lineman, then it's kind of
Hmm.
like hey, that was a pretty good pick.
And Ken,
Uh,
I felt the same way with 2 years ago we picked Tyler Smith, our a left guard who moves the left tackle, goes back to left guard. They're a great player, but then the next year we take Tyler Guyton, who played 2 snaps in college at left tackle, from right tackle, and we draft him. I was just like, what the hell was this pick? Like, this is not what I want. It's a project out of position player, but I think Will Campbell, Ken, is probably, man, I'm going to tell you, he is really good, Ken. If the team needs it, because to me, Ken, I love offense, you know that, and I
yeah,
think the offensive line is where it's built, especially in the trenches. And this guy is a mover, Ken. He can move you, and he can open up some holes. And I think having him at left side, I don't care who you have at quarterback, Ken. I can play quarterback. I'm not getting touched on that left side. I think he's
but
that good.
and with Geno at quarterback, the Raiders extending Geno out. We know he's going to be
Right.
here at
Hmm.
least the next two
2 years.
seasons. I
Yeah.
guess they
Mhm.
they extended him out 2 years, so it's a 3 year
3-year deal. Yeah.
deal. But I feel like there's an option for that third year. I don't
Mhm.
remember exactly. But with him being here for the next few seasons, uh, you know, it's important to build that offensive line around him.
Yeah.
And again, like you said about guard as well, I wouldn't hate a guard move either. The Raiders did pick up Alex Kappa
Right.
through free agency this year, which last season he was one of the worst offensive linemen in the league. But years
Hmm.
previous, he was one of the top 20 type offensive
Sure.
linemen. So that's still in him. It's just maybe just had a bad season. I don't know.
And you know what? A lot of
Uh,
times it changes scenery too. I mean,
yeah.
you look at Mekhi Becton with the Jets. Not a great player, not a franchise staple piece. He goes to the Eagles, and good God, he's one of the staple points there. He gets traded, gets the money, but I think sometimes a change of scenery goes a long way too, Ken.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, 100%. Like I mentioned about Dylan Parham being, I feel like a pretty decent right guard.
Hmm.
There were some rumblings that he was unhappy last year,
Mm.
especially earlier, it was early mid season somewhere. Whether or not that was factual or not, I'm not really sure. But that's something, if he's unhappy, then maybe the Raiders look to cut ties with him or look to trade him away, and they do draft
Mm.
a guard or whatever, or maybe even draft tackle and do some jumbling around there
Sure.
and uh, and go from there. Because
No,
I think Thayer Mumford also played some guard. Yeah, he was the Raiders'
okay.
right tackle. He and
Okay.
Glaze rotating last year, so a bunch of different possibilities.
Yeah. But I think you're going to get a lot of grumbling, Ken, when you're on a bad team. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
going to
Oh my
say
God.
something.
Yeah.
You're going to speak no matter. Everything's, not green. The grass isn't green on this team. And I think you're going to get rumblings no matter what. I'm not happy. This team sucks. I'm not being used. What is going on? I'm going to say something, but I think it all gets straightened out, Ken. I really do.
Yeah. I hope it does because it's been a
Hope
long
so for you.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long. I mean, you've been a Cowboy
29
fan.
years.
Yeah.
29 years, Ken. 29 years. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
know.
we've been a good bit longer than that. Add a decade on to that for us, but a decade or more, it's been more than that. 41
Yeah.
years, I guess it would be the
Oh,
last year the
gosh.
Raiders won a Super Bowl.
I'm
But
sorry. I'm
anyway,
sorry, Ken. I'm sorry, Ken. I'm sorry.
yes. And again, I'll say it at least one more time. We've made the joke so many times. You
Yeah.
hear about the Cowboy fans needing a VCR, VHS player to watch
Yeah.
their last Super Bowl. A Raiders fan, we need a reel to reel. We need to find that
Yes.
old dusty library up in the
Mhm.
attic, blow off the reel to reel, like Clark Griswold in the
Oh,
Christmas Vacation when he's stuck
yes.
up in the attic. We're just like Clark Griswold. We're all tears running down the side of our face, because we miss
Mhm.
those glory days. But
Yes.
it is what it is. It really is.
100%. 100%. 100%.
Um,
Yes.
again, moving on with number 6 here, a couple more options that have
Mhm.
been brought up. Of course, Shador Sanders has been out there. Uh,
Okay.
if you're the Raiders, you're a Raider fan. Let's say you're a Raider fan.
Mhm.
How would you feel if the Raiders did select Shador Sanders? Would you be upset with that, or would you be like, all right, it is what it is? He's been you know linked to us for basically since
Yeah.
last year. During the
Yeah.
season, it's just constant
Mhm.
week in and week out when the Raiders would lose.
Mhm.
Paul, I can't tell you how much week in and week out this pissed me off. And I'm going to say it here because it's starting to make me angry again. But week in and week out when the Raiders would lose, he'd put something positive like like, let's go, or say
Yeah.
stuff like that because he wants the Raiders to continue to lose so they can select him early in the first round. You know what, dude? F you. That's what I say. That's what I say. Like he doesn't even understand. He doesn't understand
Yeah.
the
Mm,
constant week in and week out. Uh, pain is a hard word. But as a sports fan, the pain as a sports fan to have
yeah.
your team lose for so long, and then you have somebody that wants to be on your team, rooting for you to lose. F you, bro.
Mhm.
F you.
Exactly.
That's what I say, and that's one of the reasons why I don't want him on my team
Mhm.
because somebody with that kind of character, F you. That's and I'm really struggling not to use that F word. I really it's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm sticking PG
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, Ken, I tell you what, I'm on the same boat with you. I mean, a lot of people like Shador Sanders, and watching him, I watch on-field action, and I watch off-field action. To me, there's one person that's all about himself that comes from learning from daddy, you know? I mean, when you come off the field and you score a touchdown and you put your hand up like this to your $1 billion watch every damn time, I don't like that, number one, because you're not a team player. Number two, countless times, I'm tired of getting sacked. My O line need a better deal. I don't like hearing that from a quarterback. You're the leader of the team. You never say that, regardless of who you're talking to, especially during a press conference. You never say that. Number three is I think his IQ level is not NFL ready yet. Is he better than Geno Smith? I don't think so, Ken. I wouldn't take him at 6 and have Geno for another 3 years with a third-year option. Why? You're paying him $40 million a year, a starting quarterback wage. Shador will be a $4 million quarterback per year, fifth-year option. But Ken, he's not ready to me because to me he's a diva and I don't like him. Great arm, great strength, great mobility, but you're drafting another Geno Smith. You don't know what he's going to be, Ken. I don't like Shador Sanders. I don't. I have him in number 2 because the way he plays, I get that. But Ken, I'll tell you what. I don't think you draft a quarterback first round. I don't think you might have to. You might if you draft a quarterback, you might have to jump up in the second round and get this guy, but I think he will be the third round. Reason why I'm saying this, Ken, I'm a little biased because I watched this kid play in high school live for 4 years. Kyle McCord, Ken. I think he is the dark horse. I think he has the strongest arm in this draft. Um, he's the most accurate quarterback, Ken. Ohio State, 12-1 as a starter. Went to Syracuse, had no wide receiver I can even think of, Ken, and threw for 5,000 yards in one season under a new offense, new scheme, learning everything. This kid is the real deal, Ken. I love Kyle McCord. I think he is the dark horse, projected maybe third round, second round reach. I have him actually ahead of Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe. I have him as my third quarterback, Kyle McCord, Syracuse.
And so I really like Kyle McCord as well. I've talked about him so much on here because
Mm-hmm,
you kind of turned me
mm-hmm,
onto this guy. I guess probably like 2 months ago when I
mm-hmm.
first started talking a little bit of draft on here.
Yeah.
I think you actually I don't know if you actually commented on here or if it was in our private chat for Out of the Box Sports.
Mm-hmm.
But Kyle McCord, you just look at the stats. You're like, where the hell was
Yeah.
this guy? Like how come nobody's really talking about him? Now he did have a couple games where, for whatever reason, just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
flunked on. But he had some games where he was just
Yeah.
outstanding. And
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. If I'm the Raiders, I don't take a quarterback in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Second round, late second round, you'd have to trade back or because the
Yeah.
Raiders only have 1 second round pick, they pick 37th right now. But if you get to the third round at the 68th pick and
Mm-hmm.
Kyle McCord is sitting there,
Right.
I like that. I like that pick a lot. He's
I
mobile,
agree. Mm-hmm.
strong arm. Isn't afraid to make that play. Isn't afraid to make
Yeah.
that throw. He'll try to fit it in that window. And there's a lot of times he has, and there's been some times he hasn't.
Yeah.
But I mean that's part of being a quarterback. He moves on. He moves
Mm-hmm.
on from. He's able to walk away. Like all right, And that's one thing that you see with a lot of quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, is their inability to get that out of their
Yeah.
head when they throw a bad interception.
Mm-hmm.
How do they move on? When they go out there and now all of a sudden they're gun shy. They're checking down and everything. I want the guy who throws a bad interception, goes right
Yeah.
back and throws in the same damn spot and makes the completion. That's the guy that I want.
I agree, Ken. That's the thing that I coach quarterbacks up here with my team. And I say, hey, bad play, short-term memory is what I tell this kid,
Absolutely.
Hey, no worries about it. We're going to make that same damn. Sometimes, Ken, we throw a pick, and I'll go back to the same play on the next set. Run it again. Run it again. Why, coach? Run it again. I trust you. Run it again. And to me, Kyle McCord is that guy, Ken. I mean, there was a game where he threw 5 picks in one game this year,
Yes.
Ken. And then the next game, he came back for 534 yards, 5 TDs. And what he did against Miami that last game of the season, And I know one of the hosts, Larry's a huge Miami fan. I was like, beginning of the season, I was like, watch your team lose against Kyle McCord last week of the season. He's going to light you up. Ken, he almost threw for 550 yards again on a top 5 team in the college football rankings. I mean, Miami has no defense, but don't take that away from Kyle McCord. It's not his fault you don't have a
Oh,
defense. You know,
well,
I mean, he's great.
Miami supposedly has a superior athletes, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
not a top defense, but still, they're the team with all the athletes on them, So, and that I did talk about that on the
Mhm.
show. He threw, I think it was 5 picks against Pitt,
Yes.
my favorite
Yep.
team. And then he goes out there against Miami later in the season and lights them up. I think he
And,
might have had 4 or 5 touchdowns against Miami, I believe, right?
and here's the crazy thing. And who's the quarterback for Miami? Cam Ward.
Yeah.
He's the number 1 projected player in the draft. Kyle McCord outplayed him, Ken. Outplayed him. And I mean, you're going from unsung to number 1 draft pick in Cam Ward. You got to sometimes look at the stats, Ken, and what you've done in 4 years. I know Cam's been 6 years, Ken, but Kyle McCord has done a lot in 4 years with 2 different teams, taking Syracuse to where they were from nothing to where they become and setting the league on fire, Ken. He broke the ACC record in passing his first year with nobody at wide receiver. Tells me a lot about this kid.
Oh, absolutely. Uh, and that's what a lot of people like. Even myself, I kind of like Jackson Dart a little bit,
Mhm.
but again, I haven't really ever watched him play. I'm looking at stats and I'm reading what's been written about him. I'm
Yeah.
basically a paper fan when it comes to
Mhm.
that. And when I look at clips of Kyle McCord, what he's done, stats, where he was, Ohio State to Syracuse.
Mhm.
Uh, Me personally, I like him better, but it seems to be a lot of people pointing towards Jackson Dart. And for whatever reason, I hear a lot of people loving Jalen Milroe to the point where I've heard a couple
Ah,
draft gurus talk about the possibility of Jalen Milroe being drafted late first round, teams moving up or moving back
mm.
and taking him late first round. What are your thoughts on that? I know you're a big Jalen
Uh,
Milroe fan, so
yeah. First, I mean, like I said, I have Cam Ward 2. Shador at number 2. I hate saying that, but Kyle McCord is my dark horse at 3. I think he might be a clipboard guy the first year, Ken, and see if he gets his chance. But number 4, I have Jackson Dart. What I wrote on him, great movement. He's a leader in the huddle. He's a playmaker. But his downfall to me, he makes stupid ass decisions, Ken. He'll take the chance when it's not needed. Take unnecessary sacks. I go back to the last game of the season last year, Ken. If they win this game, they make the BCF playoffs as a team that gets in there, top 12 team. Third down, Ken. Third down and 7. He drops back. He scrambles. He goes 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, Ken. Takes a sack.
oh
No
my,
timeouts.
yeah,
No
oh Jesus
timeouts.
Christ.
No timeouts, Ken. Okay.
That,
He comes back with 4 seconds on the clock, grabs the ball, and just heaves it to the end zone. To me, what he did, Ken, is he looked at his players like this. I'm thinking, like, you're a dumb son of a bitch. You took a 20-yard sack here. Go out and get, 8, 10 yards, get the first down. You live another day. Clock resets. You have 2 plays on the clock. You scrambled and dropped 30 seconds off the clock. Dumb decision to me. That shows me that 4-year starter, Ken, you know what? You got to be ready. You got to know situation. You got to know time, and you got to know down and distance what you need, Ken. And I didn't see that from him. I did not see it from him.
so here's a question I have to ask you about that. I feel like that you bring that up. I feel like over the last few seasons, handful of seasons, I feel like you see that more often, where you have a young quarterback coming in and just
Yeah.
taking that unnecessary sack, and you hear the announcers say that, because usually your announcers are a quarterback that played in the league
Hmm.
10, 15, 20 years ago,
Sure.
a la Troy Aikman or what have you, and they say just throw the ball away,
Right. Live
throw it
another
away
day.
and
Throw it
live.
away. Hmm. Yeah.
So why do you think that? Do you think everybody just wants to be that hero instead of just playing smart? Like what? Why
Well,
do you think that is?
I don't even think it's just rookie quarterbacks. Look at Dak Prescott 3 years ago, Ken. Time management, runs up the middle, and with no time on the clock, tries to spike the ball. I think
Yeah.
it's just scheme, Ken. Film room, IQ level. But you're right. I see a lot of quarterbacks too. I mean, I coach 11 and 13-year-olds, and I put them in situations. Well, we got 25 seconds on the clock, 1 timeout. It's 3rd and 7. What are you going to do? Get me the first down? I'll call timeout, move the ball. But then, when players are taught in younger days, they excel. They keep that in their memory and move on. But I agree with you, Ken. I think it's just I want to make the ESPN top 5
Yeah.
plays of the week. That to me, you don't win that way, Ken. You don't.
No, and like, you know what? It starts like you see. And again, I don't want to harp on this because it's just kids having
Hmm.
fun. But you see those kids, whether it's football or basketball or baseball, and the kids
Yeah.
are just playing, the games. Then all of a sudden they make a big shot, and what do they start doing? They start going off on their own and celebrating, like, or whatever,
Oh,
or you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's like they're having fun, and I get it. I really do. Like, when I was a kid, one thing I used to always do, we'd all emulate, like a Ken Griffey Jr. We'd turn our hat backwards, and we'd have the swing, like
Mhm.
trying the Griffey swing and stuff. The Griffey walk and
Right.
watching the home run, because he was, it felt like he was like the one to make it really popular, to watch your
Yes.
home run leave and stuff.
Hmm.
But we do that, messing around, in practice. So when it came to game, if we had a big hit or something like that, you're looking for your teammates to celebrate. But I feel like it starts off at such a young age now, where you have these kids, you know,
Yeah.
wanting to celebrate, wanting to show me, look at me, and then it bleeds into to these future generations.
Hmm.
When they get older and they have their opportunities in a bigger stage. It's look at me. Like, I want to make this big play, which it's good to have. You want to make the big play,
Right.
but I mean, it shouldn't be at the your team's uh, the cost of your team. You know what I mean? The
Exactly.
cost of a win,
Exactly.
or a potential win, or we're getting ready to go in a field goal range. Instead of forcing that ball downfield, there's that 5 yard
Mhm.
slant that's wide open. Take
Yep.
that slant to move a little bit closer, but no, you throw it downfield because you want that six to
Yep.
the winning touchdown instead of with the winning field goals. You want to show me, show me,
Hmm.
show me.
Yeah.
And so I yeah, it's I think it's been a
Agree.
lineage. It's been a long time, or
Agree.
not
And
a long time, but you know what I mean.
yeah, and Jalen Milroe. Oh my God, I don't know who puts him in the top 10 quarterbacks. Honestly, I can't deal with this guy. To me, to me, he's a strong arm quarterback, very mobile, strength wise, but Ken, this guy can't read pass progression, Ken. He can't read
Yeah,
route. He can't read it. And you know what? You might want to take a shot at him, maybe late third round, but you're sitting with a quarterback that needs to be in the film room for 2 to 3 years and sit behind a quarterback that can teach him, Ken. This guy, I don't know who has him up there. I mean, I've seen drafts where he's going number 9 to the Saints. I'm like, what the hell are you
yeah,
thinking?
it's a
No way.
craziness.
No,
And
no.
it's funny because just a month ago, that's all you heard was Jalen Milroe,
Yeah.
project quarterback.
Yes.
A couple years away from being a starter.
Mhm.
You're looking second, third, fourth round, and super athletic talent and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Fast, great
Mhm.
runner. Uh, but then all of a sudden, to a first round pick, mid
Yeah.
first round, late first round, like, what the
Yep.
hell just happened? Like, it's
Yep.
it's it's
100%.
crazy.
And you know what, Ken? I'll give you a perfect example. I mean, Milroy had one hell of a pro day, but you're throwing to your own wide receivers. You're throwing your routes that you want
Yeah,
to, that's already schemed. Your 15 play scheme is already here. Hey, we're going to go here, here, here. We already know you can make the throws. We're going to make you look good at your pro day. But the name I'll tell him that I think is Anthony Richardson. You remember him when the Colts took him
yep,
right away? He's the same way. To me, I think he was my 5th quarterback in the draft. He went for basically first quarterback in the draft, Ken, because of
yeah.
that pro day. Look what happened to him. Gave up on his team. Coach, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm getting out of here. He's not the guy. I mean, I feel the same way about this kid. He's a project, Ken. Project.
Freaking Alabama quarterbacks.
You think about Ken. You think about the only quarterback that came out of there really after he transferred to Oklahoma was Jalen Hurts, a true leader. No matter what people say, I love the quarterback. But look at Tua. Where's he got in Miami? Okay, you look at what's his name? Goodness gracious, now I'm drawing a blank. Mac Jones. Mac
Oh
Jones.
yeah, yeah, man, that's another
You
bust.
look at
Yeah,
these quarterbacks, they're a product of the system. They've had wide receiver you out there, Ken. They've had the best team, that money can buy, basically. Any quarterback's going to look good. But when Bryce Young, same thing, Ken. You get there to the NFL. Well, what happened? We took you number 1. We gave up the farm to get you over CJ Stroud that year. Well, look what happened. I mean,
yeah.
where you play doesn't mean a damn thing. It's what you fit your system, and you got to look, what you're surrounded by. That's why I think Kyle McCord, you can surround him with me and you at wide receiver. We're going to still get 1,000 yards a season with him. He's going to find you.
I don't know about me. I got hands made of stone.
I mean, I'm a stat. I'm a statue kid. If I just get out there and I throw the ball, I might catch it, but I ain't running no routes. I'll tell you that.
It's good going down. Go down. Go down.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
So yeah, and my thoughts on quarterbacks from Alabama. There hasn't been a good NFL quarterback from Alabama since Kenny the Snake Stabler. So I mean, I
Ooh.
can't think of one off the top of my head.
Ooh.
And so I mean, to be honest with you, I can't think of another Alabama quarterback that's been. I mean, I'm sure there's one. I'm sure there has to be one since
I
then.
say Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. He spent 3 years
yeah,
in
but
there.
yeah. So yeah, he made his name at Alabama. Then he finished it off in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we mentioned Anthony Richardson with the Colts, and of course we have fantasy football girl advice checking in.
Hey, how
She's
you
a
doing?
Colts fan. She says, "Howdy, y'all." Howdy, there, fantasy football
Great
girl.
timing. Great timing right there.
Impeccable timing. Beautiful.
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Jalen Milroe again. I'm not.
Yeah,
it's just crazy from one day, third round, project quarterback to all of a sudden the first round. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not.
Yeah. Yep.
So another position I want to talk to you about, Paul. Before I don't want to hold you on here too long.
No, I'm good. I don't sleep, Ken. I'm good.
So again, back to Ashton Genty and all that stuff. So if the Raiders don't select a running back there in the first round, it's been said a million times over by all the experts that the running back class is extremely deep this season. And we're looking at a couple guys, Cam Scatterbo, Marion Hampton, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. I think, is he running back?
Yes, he is. He wouldn't fit you though. He's a scat back. Don't take him. He wouldn't.
We
wouldn't
don't want a scat back.
No,
scat means poop. So yeah, I mean it does, right? I mean, scat. You hear a woodsy guy. It's like, oh, it's a deer scat. So I mean, that's. But anyway, so what are your thoughts on running backs? But basically after Ashton Genty, I know you mentioned before. I think Marion Hampton as your second running back.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Ken. If you go deep, let's just say you go defense tackle, offensive line. First round at 6 there. At 37, is that a need for you at running back at 37? Would you take best available?
I'd probably, me personally, that early in the second round, I'd go best available. But I feel like running back is a huge
need
hole right now because we picked up Raheem Mostert, but that's we got Raheem Mostert, Sincere McCormick, who I really like, Zamir White, who kind of let us down last year, but I haven't given up on him, and Dylan Lobb. None of those guys are proven except for Raheem Mostert, and you know what I mean? Yeah. He's been a journeyman running back, basically, as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
And really, he's a committee back. I mean, he shared time with A-Chain last year, too. I mean, he lost his job to A-Chain, Ken. So, I don't know what he has left. But what do you want, Ken? Do you want that power back, that Jonte type back, or do you want a pass catcher? What fits your system the best?
I want that grind you down running back with hands, with something that everybody wants. The grind you running back with hands. I mean, Jesus, Christmas.
Okay. I'll be honest.
Most running backs most running backs nowadays are very good pass catchers out of the backfield.
I don't think Omar Hampton's going to be there. I mean, I don't think he's going to be there. I think he's gone. If he passes the Cowboys, he's going to drop to probably 20, honestly. But I think he's gone in the first round. He is that pick. The other guy that I can really think about, a lot of people don't like this kid, but, I mentioned him. You talked about him, Cam Scatterbo, Arizona State. This kid, he's a 4-down back. He's a bring your lunch pail to guy. He's faced 9 and 10 in the boxes. He doesn't give up, Ken. This kid is amazing. He reminds me like Mike Allstott runner with speed, catching out of the backfield. Last year, Ken, he played with 103 freaking fever and tore teams apart the last game of the season. I like him. I like it. My dark horse for you guys, Ken, I wrote this down for you, is Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. I like this kid. I think he could be a second-round pick for you guys. He fits you. I wrote excellent vision, a lot of patience, big playability, great slot movement. He can move out to the slot. The only downfall is, man, he had 9 fumbles last year. That's the thing.
Oh, God.
That's the thing, though.
That's the last thing we need.
that's the thing. That's my only downfall. The other guy I have is out of Iowa, Ken, Caleb Johnson. I like him. He's another hybrid guy. I really like this kid. The only downfall on him is patience, Ken. He is, unless you have that offensive line where, hey, we're running a gap here. We're going to run the A gap. We're running a 23 gap here. If you call that 23 gap, he's hitting that hole, Ken. If it's not open, he's just hitting the back of your ass. That's what he's doing. He has no patience. He has the vision, but he hasn't used the vision. I like him a lot. But to me, Ken, I think you get Cam Scadaboo in the third round. I mean, if you want him, I think he's going to drop to the third round. A lot of people don't like him, as what I heard. I mean, me, Ken, my top is Gente, Hampton, Scadaboo, Dylan Sampson, Caleb Williams, or Caleb Johnson. I'm sorry, Caleb Williams. Jesus Christ, why is he on my mind? Caleb Johnson. Then I have Travion Henderson. I think he is a solid back, but the only difference is, once again, you share time at Ohio State with Quinshon Junkins. I don't like sharing time. I want a guy that's like Jonte. You give him the ball. We know what he does. He's the team. But Scadaboo fits the bill with me, and Hampton fits the bill with me, Ken. I like those guys, but Scadaboo is a second-round reach to some teams. But if Hampton's there, that's a no-brainer, Ken. That is a no-brainer.
And I really like Cam Scadaboo, but I've been hearing there's a lot of off-the-field issues with him. I don't know what's true and what's not true. The internet – the internet pisses me off because I don't know what to believe with AI now. Like it's like they ain't saying that. I'm watching their lips and stuff. I'm like, there's outlandish stuff coming out of people's mouth now. So I don't know what to believe anymore. But I've been hearing there's some issues with Cam Scadaboo off the field. I don't know if you've heard anything about that or not.
I haven't heard anything about that. I mean, what I've seen so far, Ken, I'm always trying to like look at updates and stuff like that for college players, no matter what. But I haven't really heard anything negative toward them. I mean, what you hear is what the media just wants to put out there sometimes. I mean, what he does on the field, Ken, I mean, he showed me a lot this year where he didn't have to play, sick. He could have sat out that second half of that game, but he played, Ken, with 103 fever. And I honestly think he had the best half ever in college football that he's ever had. He had like 100 yards in the second half, caught that one deep ball. He threw for a touchdown, Ken. I mean, he's a solid player, but what you do on the field means more to me than your off topic. But there are some players, Ken, that they say the wrong things and it's coming straight from their mouth. They're just idiots. Sometimes they say stuff, but I don't see Cam ever saying something like that.
Yeah. For some reason, I seen. I didn't read the whole article. Again, that's on me. Looking at headlines and stuff like that, I heard being sued or whatever. I didn't really see for what though.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into it. I didn't hear anything about that. I mean, court issues I don't really get into, but maybe I will. Now, who knows? There might be some underlining issues there. Yeah, child support, whatever it could be, parking tickets. I don't know.
And I felt like it was either a former teammate or a teammate. I didn't read. I should have read the story, but it was something I just seen in passing. As I was scrolling through Google or something like that, caught my attention. Then I seen something else that caught my attention. I'm like that dog that's chasing a car. All of a sudden, you see you see a smell of pie, and all of a sudden you're off of the car. And I was like, what was this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like me with ADHD, kid. I'm starting this one, then I put that aside. Then I'm like, where was I? What am I doing? Oh, I forgot I got to finish that one. Yeah, that's me. Yep.
Well, another guy with some off-field issues, Teteroa McMillan, a wide receiver, because that's another. But I don't feel like this is the Raiders' biggest need. I feel like this is probably one of the lesser needs out of their top needs.
Okay.
But I feel like he's the guy that's been in the news a little bit with some off the field stuff.
Ken, and did you see what he said in his conference to a lot of GMs? Did you hear what he said?
No, enlighten us.
Okay, Ken, if you're the GM and you ask me, your question to me is, hey, Paul, you're arguably the number one wide receiver coming in the draft this year. How do you prepare and get ready for game situations the following week coming up? How do you prepare for teams? Hey, Ken, I don't watch film. I don't watch film, Ken. I go and do it on the field. I really don't watch film who I'm playing. I don't watch film myself. I don't think I need to. I've played that way ever since I played Little League football. I don't need to watch film, Ken. How do you feel about that, Ken?
Oh, I would absolutely hate it, especially, again, me being a Raiders fan and after the whole debacle with off the Marcus Russell. If you don't know the story, I'll
God.
So when Jamarcus Russell was a rookie,
LSU quarterback,
from former LSU quarterback, the Raiders took him overall number one. He held out, got a huge contract eventually as the season was going on, halfway through the season, and coaches, they gave him some tapes. Hey, watch this game film on the team we're playing here next week, and let us know your thoughts. And they asked him, I think it was like a day later, a couple of days later, so what'd you think? I really, I was checking this out, checking out the coverage here. The tapes were blank. They were blank. He didn't watch shit. Like, God damn it! I mean, so when I hear something like that gives me so much pause. I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna flip the page on this guy because we've been there and done that as a Raider fan.
Yep.
And it's a shame too because it seems like he has all the tools to be
Hmm.
a really good wide receiver. But
Yeah.
if you're not going to put in the work, it doesn't matter how good you are.
Yep.
That cornerback, that safety on the other side,
Let's watch
are
film of
they're
you every
yeah,
week. Hmm.
they're just as good, and they put in the work to stop
Yeah.
you. And if you're
Yep.
not looking out to put a work how to beat them,
Mhm. And I tell you what, Ken, I've
you'll
looked at a
find
lot
out.
of draft. Yeah, I've looked at a lot of draft boards. I've seen him actually go from sixth position with you being the highest, all the way down to 28 right now. Because after that, high was six. Now I think he's the highest on the board at maybe the earliest I've seen on a lot of boards now is Dallas Cowboys at 12. That's where he's dropping, Ken, because what you say in an interview goes a long way, Ken. You're trying to get a job, Ken, and that's the wrong thing to say to your potential hirer, your boss, and that to me goes a long way, Ken. I like the kid talent wise. Don't get me wrong, my God, but Ken, when you hear that, you're coming to say if they draft you, you go into the locker room. Hey, bro, we're going to the film room. Nah, I don't do that. That's going to piss me off because you know what? That's bullshit. I put in my time and work and I need film room. I don't care if you're God given ability, but you need to make this team better because just like you said, that corner has watched 16 games of you already. He knows your every move. He knows if you're going to, jam here. He knows if you're going to do a quick slant. He knows everything on your foot movements. He knows your hand check movements. He knows everything about you more than you know about yourself. I hate that. I hate it.
And here's the thing: if that's the stance he's going to take on
Mm,
his off the field work, watching film and stuff, he's not going to do it. He's going to find himself on a team where he's going to have some veteran players that are going to sit his ass down, or they're going to find a way to talk to management and have his ass cut or
yeah.
demoted or what
Mm,
have his playing time reduced,
yeah.
and he might still get paid.
Right.
But his next paycheck is going to be much smaller. His next opportunity at a contract or whatever,
Mhm. And
and
Ken,
that's what players play for is that
yeah,
second contract.
yep. And I know that back in the day, even in high school when I played, we had the hazing issues. Your new freshman's coming in, you're on varsity. A freshman comes in, or a sophomore coming into varsity. There's hazing. It's not in the NFL anymore. But I tell you what, you pull that shit in the NFL, the veterans will haze your ass. Terrence McMillan. I'll tell you that right now because I mean, veterans don't play around. They don't want to hear that young shit because to them, you got to earn your keep around here. I've earned mine. Don't come in here and just call your shots the way you want to do it. I hate that, Ken. I have him listed as my still number one. I mean, talent wise, I have him number one. But to me, Ken, I like Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. I think he's a hybrid guy. Number three to me would be Luther Burden out of Missouri. I love him too. I think he would fit you. And Buke out of Ohio State. I love him. Do you guys want a slot receiver, Ken? Would a slot be an issue for you guys?
No. So right now in the slot we have uh, Jacoby Myers.
Okay,
I
okay, he's
believe.
he's solid.
I
Very
believe
solid. Yeah,
he's our slot guy. So he's solid, but you can't have too many slot guys if you ask me. So
can you move Jacoby out to the outside?
yes, I do believe it. Like I don't see that the Raiders really stretching the field a whole lot, and when they do, they usually use Trey Tucker to stretch the field. So
Okay, okay,
so when you see Trey Tucker in there, usually you know that he's running something deep or something
okay.
where he's going to look for something explosive.
Mhm.
But you could easily move Jacoby Myers to the outside
Okay,
and have him still run intermediate routes to mid routes and stuff like
mhm.
that,
Okay.
and be able to be functional.
Yeah. The reason why I said that, I mean, I look at Geno Smith as your quarterback now. I mean, if Pete Carroll comes in, he wants the beast mode, just like he had at Seattle. Gente might be the option there. I think he does do something like that. That is his MO to go out and get a beast mode guy. You go back to the Russell Wilson days when he had that. He had DK Metcalf. He had Lockett. He had these hybrid guys on the outside, and he's always had a slot guy. You look at Geno Smith. He really showed a lot last year when he had Jackson Smith and Jigba in the slot. That's why I said if you move Jacoby and you put Trey outside, two wide receivers on the outside, my guy to you would be, I love this kid. I mean, I know you're in this division. You hate me saying his name, but Lad McConkey, right? You want a
Yep.
player like that. That is Xavier Respo from Miami. This kid is a Julian Edelman. He is a Lad McConkey. He catches everything, Ken. He has a motor. He does anything. He moves the sticks. He gets your yak yards. I think this could be your slot wide receiver in the fifth round. I think him dropping to probably your spot at 180, 143, Ken, as a reach.
Well, and so here's the thing with that. You're talking about the guy that moves the sticks,
Mm-hmm.
that makes that tough 3, 4, 5 yard
Right.
catch to move the sticks to get just a yard beyond, and just in recent news with the Raiders, they've been talking to uh, Hunter Renfrow again. So
Oh,
Hunter
wow.
Renfrow, who took a year off, there was rumors that he retired. He said he's not
Mhm,
retired, and
mhm.
he actually had a visit with the Raiders. I believe it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and there's potential. I haven't heard anything progress yet that they could be in talks. That they're both interested. And as a Raider fan, before McDaniels took over,
Yeah.
I loved Hunter Renfrow. When
Mhm.
it was John Gruden,
Yeah.
1,000-yard receiver, Pro Bowl receiver, which again you take that with a grain of salt, the Pro Bowl thing. But
Mhm,
again, over 1,000 yards. I don't know. I don't think he had 100 catches. I feel like he had probably it's like 80 or 90 catches. But he
mhm.
was that guy that made those tough catches,
Yeah.
sat down in the middle field, caught the ball beyond the sticks,
Mhm.
moving the chains. And so if the Raiders, yeah, I feel like if the Raiders do sign Hunter Renfrow, re-sign or however you want to look at it, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
I do believe that they wouldn't look at a receiver until late 5, 6, 7 round, seventh
You
round, and it would be another slot guy.
Okay, so you're cool going in with what you have, Jacoby Myers and Tucker. If Renfro comes back, that 1, 2, 3 solid combination.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay, okay.
With Devontae Adams being what he was last year, and then getting traded away, Jacoby
Yeah,
Myers had to play a lot outside anyway. So
right. Okay.
yeah, and with Brock Bowers, controlling the middle from the tight end spot, he
Mhm.
was basically playing your slot. And,
Okay.
Brock Bowers, they'd flex him out a lot, and he'd play, he'd run routes from the tight end position, but then they flex him out like a wide receiver, a slot receiver, and go from there as
Okay.
well. So
Okay.
there's so many different things you can do with those guys, especially Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. That it's Brock Bowers, the tight end, wide receiver. You know what I mean? It's you can use them anywhere basically.
Okay.
So.
What about do you think a cornerback would be in play for you guys or no?
And that's what I was going to ask you. Cornerback position.
Okay.
I don't know anything about in college football about any
Uh,
cornerbacks, but this is what the Raiders have right now
mhm,
at cornerback. They got a Bennett who was picked up
mhm.
I think he was drafted 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. I
It
could be
was
wrong.
you.
No, I think it was two or three, whatever it was.
Mhm.
I feel like it's two, but it could have been three. My brain doesn't work all that well. Jacorian Bennett, but last year breakout season for him. I feel
Yeah.
like he played awesome last year. Jacorian Bennett, I really like his future. Cam Richardson is the guy the Raiders drafted. I think it was last year. Uh, Up and down. He had some games where he was thrusted into as a starter, where
Mhm.
he played okay, and there were some games where he was thrust to, especially early in the season, where he was outmatched. And I think it was the last game of the season he was a little bit outmatched as well. But he had a nice stretch near the end of the season of like 3 or 4 games where he played really well. I'd expect him to progress a little bit. And they also picked up Eric Stokes in the offseason,
Yeah.
as well as Darnay Holmes. But we lost Trayvon Merrick. Well, that's a safety.
Yeah.
Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs was the big one that we lost this year. Jack Jones. The Raiders released Jack Jones as well. That was I was fine with. The Raiders releasing Jack Jones. I wasn't always high on Jack Jones. Like when he first came on, when he was first traded from the Patriots to the Raiders during that season where AP was the interim coach.
Mhm.
They got the Jack Jones traded to the Raiders. He was a lightning rod. The Raiders needed something like that.
Right.
Then going into last season, seeing how he would attack a ball carrier or lack of attack.
Mhm.
How I like to call it, he'd kind of step away, did not want to tackle, and stuff like that. Kind of showed you who Jack Jones was.
Right.
We want guys that want to put their nose into the ball carrier, and he didn't want any part of it, and that started affecting him on the outside and
Mhm.
whatnot. In coverage, he kind of regained it a little bit nearing the end of the season, but he was never the same as he was the season before. So he was released, and and with Nate Hobbs being gone, cornerback I think is a need as well. I don't want to say it's a big need, but it's a like right on the cusp of like one of our
Okay.
top three needs right there. It's like right on the edge. Like
Okay.
if I had to rank it, it would be a running back, tackle, quarterback, cornerback. It's kind of around
Okay.
there.
Okay. Where are you willing to go? You willing to go 68 or 108? Pretty much in that area for the corner, right? In your
Yeah,
eyes, for the
yeah.
GM. Okay.
In my eyes,
Okay.
yeah. I would look. Would do you
Okay.
think the cornerback? Do you think cornerback is deep
Um,
this year?
I think there's six, honestly, that I really like coming out of college. Number one, Travis Hunter is going to be gone right away from,
Yeah, yeah,
college.
yeah,
He's gone,
yeah. No doubt.
The other one is Will Johnson out of Michigan.
And I
I
have him
think
written down. I have him written
yeah,
down.
he's really good. I mean, he moves side to side, Ken. And that's one of the best things in college. A lot of these hybrid athletes are moving side to side. They don't just play left, right. These guys are really good there. I have him number 2. This guy I really like playing. He's a converted safety. He's a 4-down player. Jadea Brown out of Texas. I really like this kid. I think he's a hybrid. He can play in any position, man-to-man, zone coverage, shell. He does play that way. He's a huge hitter as well. He doesn't take chances. He's a ball hawk. Missouri, I like Trey Amos. He has huge size. I think he's 6'4", big arms, hybrid as well. Gazelle, can play any position. My dark horse, Ken, I tell you, the only downfall with him is coming off an injury. He had a hip injury, had surgery, missed the entire season. Benjamin Morris out of Notre Dame. I mean, I think this kid, Ken, they were talking as a freshman, if they were allowed to come out, this guy could have been a top 10 pick this first 2 years, freshman and sophomore year. But the injury played him pretty bad last year, so he sat out. But Benjamin Morrison is that hybrid cornerback that I think you guys would take late. I mean, I could see you probably getting him 143, possibly 180. I mean, you're taking a flyer, Ken, but I mean, I don't know. Corners have to have that hip adjustment, Ken, and I don't know if I don't know, but I like you guys can get a Jay Brown or Amos in the fourth round, third, fourth round easily.
And so I have Benjamin Morrison written down as well because I seen there was like 3 or 4 mock drafts that I seen people do the different sites. NFL.com, I think, was one of them that had the Raiders getting Benjamin Morrison later rounds. And I seen he was a Notre Dame guy, and you being a Notre Dame guy. I was like, oh, let me write this guy's name down. And so yeah,
there is another guy, Ken, Xavier Watts. I don't know if you heard of him.
No.
He's a hybrid guy too. He plays opposite corner. He took Benjamin Morris' spot this year, and he was rated the number 3, cornerback in college football. But they really didn't test Notre Dame's corner a lot. They really didn't do that. They were, a lot of teams ran on him because their run game was, vulnerable. So Xavier Watts could be a flyer, maybe in the 4th round. A lot of people have him projected 3rd to 5th. I got him projected 4th round. That's a solid pick there. I think he had 6 picks last year total in one season in 12, 13 games. I think he's a solid pick as well.
And the turnovers are such a huge part of the game nowadays, and that's something where the Raiders really lacked was that turnover ratio. We turned the ball over a lot, and they get a whole lot of turnovers in return. So we were pretty heavy in the negative there. So a quarterback, which I felt like 2 seasons ago was a strength on our team. Really quickly turned into somewhat of a weakness, like right on the edge of a weakness now. It's
right.
Our whole, to be honest with you, our whole defensive secondary, a lot of turnover from this past offseason, losing Trayvon Merrick, Marcus Epps, Nate Hobbs, losing all those guys. We did bring in Jeremy Chin and Lonnie Johnson. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Lonnie Johnson. Jeremy Chin, I've heard about some about him. Not a bad player. I'm excited about Isaiah Palomau. Got some playing time with the Raiders last year, and really, I feel like took that position, the free safety. But cornerback, I'm really but outside of Jacorian Bennett, I'm really nervous about a cornerback. But I feel like there's opportunity where it could be okay yet, though. And I think a lot of that's going to hedge on what we can do up front. What the Raiders can do up front. Can they get pressure on the quarterback? Can they stop the run? Stuff like that. So, because if you're able to run, and go for that play action pass, these guys are going to be out on an island because you're stacking guys in the box, and all of a sudden they're 1-on-1, and there's no help, and it's just it's a shit show then.
Agree, 100%. I'll tell you, Ken, if I'm the GM for you, number 1 in the first round, I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go Will Johnson first round for you at number 6. This is the perfect world, of course, for me if it happens this way. But we all know the draft doesn't happen the way you project anything. One player taken just throws your whole draft board off. But my perfect world for you, Ken, is Will Johnson number 1 at number 6 for you guys. 37. I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to go Cam Scatteraboo at 37 for you. Okay. Cornerback, I'm going to go Josh Simmons at 68 for you. Quarterback, 4th round, I'm going Kyle McCord. I think he's a staple piece for the next 2 years. Let him learn behind Geno Smith. And in the 5th round, wide receiver. Man, that's kind of hard for me. If you want that slot receiver, if Hunter Renfrow doesn't show, come back to the team here, I would probably go Xavier Respio out of Miami there. But I don't know, Ken. I mean, sitting at 6, you guys hold the cards for a lot of teams too, because you have the capability of moving back to if you don't like what you see too. So I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
Once you get to rounds like 5, 6, 7, you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
a ton of trades and just
yes, hmm
you know different positioning. Just whatever. It's really hard to predict
hmm
5, 6, and 7. I
yeah,
mean, it's hard to predict any of these rounds, to be honest with you. But
right,
because guys get picked either earlier than you thought, or there's
hmm
guys that are there that you didn't think were going to be there.
yes,
But when you look at 5, 6, 7, it's a crapshoot, man. Teams are just jumping everywhere, moving
yeah,
everywhere, and
hmm
then basically you're just picking depth pieces, to fill in. Okay, we're
right,
kind of light on this spot.
hmm
Let's take this guy's still here. Let's take him. He looks like he can fit pretty well in our system,
hmm
type of thing.
hmm
And so you're saying Will Johnson or Will Campbell?
Oh, Will Campbell. I'm sorry, Will Campbell,
Okay,
because Will Johnson's
that's
going to
what I
be gone.
thought.
That
Yeah.
corner's going to be, yeah. Will Campbell's going to be there at 6 for you. He's the best offensive tackle. Will Johnson's definitely going to be gone as a corner. He's probably a top 10 player off the board right away. Top
Okay.
10 in my eyes. Ken, let me ask you: is there any player that you just, no matter if I don't care if it's a need, Ken, is there any one player in this draft that no, I do not want him on this team, even though he might be the best? Is there one player that you do not want to draft?
Me personally, Shador Sanders.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
and
Yeah.
it's all about his off the field attitude,
Yes.
and yeah, and again, it's what you bring with you.
hmm
His dad's still coaching Colorado, but his
hmm
dad's still going to be with him. And I'm not a Deion Sanders fan. Sure,
Me either.
great cornerback,
hmm
absolutely. I think he's a dickhead of a human being. So
Agree.
so that brings all sorts of different types of issues that I don't want surrounding my team. We have enough going on where we don't need
Yeah.
any sort of extra issues. So
Yep.
that's my personal belief. But again, just look at if you look at straight up stats, you don't know anything about Shedeur Sanders, who he
Sure.
is, and you look
Yeah.
at straight up stats,
hmm
74% completion percentage, 353 completions out of 477
Yep.
attempts, 4,134 yards, 37 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then you're the Shedeur Sanders. Then you watch that the off the field antics or after game antics or when
Yep.
he scores type antics, and then you watch his dad. He's like, I don't want that. That's a headache waiting to happen. You have to have a solid team, a solid locker room, uh,
hmm
and a fan base that is willing to,
Accept.
yeah, accept it. Because there's going to be fan bases out there that
Yeah.
will get sick of it really, really quick. I mean,
Yeah.
winning
Yeah.
or not,
Yeah.
it's winning's great for everybody. But sometimes the antics just outweigh it. Like the stupid shit outweighs it. And you're like, yeah,
Yep.
okay, we're winning, but this guy's an idiot. He's a
Agree.
jerk off or whatever. So
hmm
it's tough. It really is. So if there's one guy I really don't want the Raiders to draft, and if they did draft him, I'd accept him. That's who I am as a Raider fan.
Right.
It's like, all right, you're a Raider. I'll
Right.
root for you now, and that's
Yeah.
that. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I get that, Ken. Shador's the same guy with me. You take away the stats out there. I mean, the off-field issues. That take away that. You look at his stats. Damn, this kid is Cam Ward. 1-2 QB here.
Yeah.
Wow, this is insane. Bill Furman and I did that a lot last year, Ken, where he would put up stats on the things. And just read them to me like, Paul. 300 completions out of 400, whatever yards here. Interception versus picks versus another guy. I'm like, shit, I would take this guy. He was like, well, that's the guy we don't talk about. We hate him. We know him. And it goes a long way to say that. But, exactly like you said, Ken, you go to a team that doesn't accept you. I tell you what, there's one team out there that could eat him alive. The New York Nation, the Big Apple. If Shador goes 3 and he's a bust, Ken, or he performs that dumb shit that he does, show me the money, show me the money here. Dad comes in, runs his mouth. New York will eat this kid alive, Ken. They will eat him alive.
Well, and I'll tell you what, as a Mets fan, I do a Mets podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Batcave, looking at what's going on with Juan Soto. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not a big Juan Soto fan. I never was. I don't like his antics.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's too show me.
Yes.
Again, some of that's good to have. I get that. But I'm not a big. I'm just not a big fan of him. But he's a Met, so
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to root for him. I like Juan Soto now. But the dude is getting eaten alive right now in the New York media, mostly because it's a Yankee town. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. 27 World Championships. That's what
Right.
happened.
Right.
And the New York media is eating him alive right now, and he's not playing well. So what happens if Shedeur Sanders does go to like the Giants, let's say, And they throw him to the fire. They hey, you're a starter week 2 or 3. Like let's say he doesn't start week 1. Let's say he doesn't start weeks 1 through 6. Week 7 come out there, things are just going awful. Fans want Shador, they need a change. All right, Shador, get out there, and the rest of the season he sucks ass. Okay.
Yeah.
And that the fans start turning on. The New York media starts turning on. Then you're in the off season. Shador Sanders should be out there training or whatever. Well, now he's at a premiere on Broadway for something.
Yes.
Oh, he should be watching film right now. What's Shador doing out there with his girlfriend? Wearing an Armani suit with a diamond studded watch. It's like Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? They'll eat the kid alive. They will absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, hell, they did it to Danny Jones. They did it to Aaron Rodgers, even with the Jets, Ken. I mean, this guy's a diva. He's in his, dark room, praying with feng shui shit. They'll eat you alive, Ken, and that's the wrong place to go. Oh, God. Yeah.
Eddie Prather checking in. He says,
what's going on, Eddie?
Ken and Paul. Eddie. And he also says, Genty's the only guy the Raiders should pick. And we talked about this at length earlier on. If he's there, I do think the Raiders are going to pick him. If he is there, I really do, and I don't hate that. But Will Campbell's Paul. That's who you think the Raiders should take at 1, and I wouldn't hate it because I do think offensive line is a need. Offensive tackle is a need. It could be better. Like I said, Colton Miller, I feel like will return to form as one of the better left tackles in the league. And then, you had a rookie starting last year, DJ Glaze, who did okay. He did okay. You can upgrade at that position. And, DJ Glaze, I do believe, I could be wrong about this, but I do believe he has some time at guard as well. Same thing with Thayer Mumford, who was the backup tackle, did have some time at guard. So you can rotate those guys all throughout.
Okay.
And then still feel comfortable with it. So I mean,
what I think the Raiders actually do, knowing Pete Carroll, like I mentioned, Marshawn Lynch, he wants to take that back because he's an old school guy, Ken. He's been out of the league for a while. He's old school mentality, run the damn ball. Marshawn Lynch, even though that last play of the game, he fucked up that play, in the Super Bowl. But I think that he's learned a lesson where Marshawn got you to the promised land. This guy is a generational player. Jonte is that guy.
Yeah.
But I don't see how you can pass up on him, but it's really building the team. I mean, the offensive line has gotten better, Ken. That might be a rule there to where, hey, the offensive line is competable. We can compete. So maybe that is the guy, but do you start with the offensive line? But just like you said, I mean, Parham, everybody's playing great. Colton's playing great. Might as well take Jonte in the first round. That throws then your second round. Then hell, you can go corner, best available corner. You can go best available offensive lineman. Who knows who will be out there? I mean, I have it like 5 or 6 deep for offensive linemen. Simmons, Kelvin Banks, Josh Connerly. I like these guys, and they're projected second, third rounds. Some of them. So I think you're in a situation where you can fill the holes, Ken, in rounds 1, 2, 3, 4 for this team this year.
That's what you look to do. That is really what you look to do. And especially your rounds 1 and 2, those are the guys that you put in. You expect them to be able to contribute, normally right away. So,
yep.
I was going to say something. I don't remember what the hell it was. With Chip Kelly being your offensive coordinator, we talked about Trayvon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, both Ohio State running backs.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling, they're still on the board. Second, third round, that they're one of those guys that could potentially end up wearing the silver and black if the Raiders don't get a running back in the first. If they don't get Ashton Genty, I still feel like there's a strong possibility they look running back second round. If not second round, definitely third round. It is a deep running back class, but still you want the guys near the top. And sometimes you see it happen where all of a sudden in the draft there's a run on a certain position. You don't want it to be late first round and all of a sudden there's a run of 5 running backs in a row, which I don't think would happen. But you never know. You just don't know. Sometimes things go crazy.
And, a lot of times, Ken, that sets the tempo. One running back comes off the board. You're like, oh, shit, I got to scramble. I got to get a running back. I got to get this guy. And like you said, it could be, running back in that scenario there. But I think you guys can get a running back in second and third round. I really like the running back committee. Even if you don't go Jonte, I think, to me, I would stay away from Judkins. The Chip Kelly offense is a hybrid offense. This offense reminds me of the Detroit Lions. You have David Montgomery as your power back, basically, and then you have Jamar Gibbs, your lightning, get outside between the tackle guy outside the hash marks. That is Quinshon Judkins there to me. Trevion Henderson, I asked you earlier, what do you want? A power back? To me, that fits your bill with either Trevion Henderson, late second, third round possibly, or a Cam Scatterbo there. Those are your power backs to me. Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson, totally fine with me. You can't go wrong with those guys. A lot of people have Sampson going third, fourth round. I've seen where he's in the second round. I project him third, fourth. I project Caleb Johnson third and fourth as well. The running back committee is deep this year, Ken. You can get a solid back in the fourth round. Guarantee it.
That's good. I like that. We've got a couple more comments from Eddie here. Donovan Jackson. I don't know who that is.
He's an offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
He also says, please, Raiders, don't take a wide receiver in the first round. I will let them know you said that.
I don't think there's a first round worthy unless you want to put your eggs in a basket on McMillan. That's the only guy that I can think coming out of there. I tell you, one person that up in the Dallas Cowboys, Ken, that I do not want to draft, I don't care if he's the best wide receiver, is Mbuke out of Ohio State. I do not like this kid. I just don't like him personally. I don't like his mom, put it that way. You know the story. I told you the story about this, didn't I? I didn't tell you this.
I don't know. Maybe you did. I have a poor memory.
Oh, okay. Well, I went to my first Penn State game this year when I was up at the hotel in Altoona. A lady there, a supervisor, gave me a ticket. She's like, you want to go? I'm like, yeah, sure. Penn State's playing. I know you're a Notre Dame fan. I'm like, I don't care. I love football. So I went to the Whiteout game where they played Ohio State.
Good game to go to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my first game, Whiteout versus Ohio State. I was getting breakfast in the hotel that morning, as every morning. And, I love hot sauce, Ken. I love my hot sauce. I'm in there and I'm having eggs, a couple pieces of sausage, a muffin, whatever. And I'm going over to the counter, putting all my hot sauce on my plate. And this lady walks right in front of me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I can move back. So I'm still putting hot sauce because I love it. Next thing I know, she turns around and she smacks my hand up in the air. I bought a Penn State jersey just for the hell of the game. Hot sauce all over my jersey, white jersey with blue writing, hot sauce all over. She's like, I'm so sorry. I could pay for your jersey. I'm like, nah, don't even worry about it. I'm so pissed off. Ken, she turns around and walks over away. I look at her jersey. It's number 2, big number 2 Ohio State, and Bukake's mother. Staying at the hotel that day. Yeah.
What did it say? Mom of 2 on it?
Yeah, it said Mbuke's mom, number 2 at the very bottom, like his number.
Yeah.
And it said Mbuke's mother on there. And the dad had a jersey, Mbuke's dad, brother and sister had one too. But the crazy thing is she gave me her phone number, Ken. She actually gave me her phone number and said, if you ever change your mind, you want a jersey, I can have my son sign it for you. I never did, but she did send me an autographed picture of him signed. And I'm like, wow. And then the crazy thing, he was the first touchdown scorer versus Penn State right in front of me. And I'm like, I hate this kid. I don't like him. No personal reasons, I don't like him, Personally, I don't like him.
Well, I mean, so to be fair, she did kind of try to square up with you, but
he did.
Yeah, I mean, but still,
yeah.
First off, she cuts you off, then she, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how that, whatever kind of.
Yeah, she knew I was right behind her. I'm pouring my hot sauce. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me just move back for a second. I'm almost done here. And she takes 5 seconds, gets a muffin on her plate, turns around, and my hand goes up, and I'm like, is it because I'm a Penn State fan? I'm really not a Penn State fan. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Maybe I don't want to go too far into this. Maybe she doesn't like Asians, Paul. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm going to put it out there. I don't know.
You're right. I haven't thought about that, Ken. You're right. I've thought about that.
I don't want to put that on people, that stigma.
You're right. But maybe that's what it was. Maybe you got it, Ken. Maybe that's what it was.
It could be. We don't know. We don't know for sure. We'll never know, probably.
We will never know. But you know what? If he gets drafted to the Dallas Cowboys, I am going to call her and say, hey, you owe me one. I need your son to hop on my podcast. So maybe.
Remember me? I'm the hot sauce guy. Remember me?
Yeah, remember me?
That would be
hot sauce all over me. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool, actually, to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
That would be pretty awesome. So what would you do if she said, no, you're Asian? I mean, that would.
I think I would pull the race card for the first time in my life, Ken. I don't know. I mean, you never know in today's world, Ken. So many people are just so soft anymore. I'm not like that. You call me Asian.
That's why.
Yeah. You call me Asian, cool. Yeah, you're right. My eyes go this way. I don't give a damn.
Well, I mean, technically, you are Asian, though, right?
I am Japanese. Yes, I am.
Yeah, so
as you can see, look right there, Japanese out of the box, right there. There you go. Right. See. I'm the only one that can read it, but it says, out of the box.
Somewhere EO Sky's watching this show, and she's like, no, that doesn't say out of the box sports. I know what that says.
What do you think it says? It says, I love EO?
Oh, I don't know. I don't read Japanese. I can't tell you. I don't know.
I
Well,
hope it says out of the box, Ken. I hope it does. I mean, I'm going on my childhood days of remembering Japanese, so I don't. It could say something bad. I don't know.
well, like when we watch Raw and Io saying something in Japanese and they're
Yes,
like they're translating, it's like that's not what she
that's not what
said.
she said. No, 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 no. But you know what? You know what? Speaking of EO Sky, Ken, I mean, you guys got something going on tomorrow, don't you?
Oh, we do have something going on tomorrow. That would be there we go.
Yeah.
The Atomic Drop tomorrow, the WrestleMania post show, our pre-show and post show.
Mm-hmm.
So 5:30 tomorrow we'll do the prediction show,
Mm-hmm.
and Sunday at 5:30 before the second day. We'll do another prediction show, and then 30 minutes after the show's over, we will be live for the recap each night,
Excellent.
Saturday night and
Mhm.
Sunday night. I took off Sunday night, not just for WrestleMania, but WrestleMania was one of the reasons why. But I do have an eye appointment Sunday morning that I'd like to be I want my peepers to be fresh for. So
Wait, you have a
I'm like,
doctor on Sunday morning?
Monday morning. So
Oh, Monday morning. Okay. Okay.
yeah, I might have misspoke there.
Because I know
So
you're going to be on the post show, correct?
I will be on the post
Okay.
show. I will be live on the post show. The pre-show I will not be available
Okay.
Saturday or Sunday. Saturday we will be doing my daughter has a softball round robin thing for high school, and that won't
Mhm.
be over until 5:30 anyway.
Gotcha.
And then Sunday we will be at a Hershey Park, rolling down the Hershey Highway and stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
we
Ken,
will
let
be
me
doing
ask you
that.
something. I know you and your wife and family are amusement park enthusiasts. I mean, if there's an
Oh
amusement
Lord,
park day,
yes.
you're there. Ken and Hershey, what's your favorite roller coaster?
Oh, and I tell you, the Sky Rush. I love the Sky Rush.
I love that. Is that the
I
yellow one?
mean,
That's the yellow one, right? That's the
yeah,
yellow one,
yeah,
right? Oh, yes,
yellow
yes,
one, blue.
yes,
That thing.
yes. Oh,
And I also ride the Jolly Rancher remix with my little guy, and
mhm.
he loves that, so I like riding that with him. So I do enjoy that one a lot. It's a quick ride, but Sky Rush is Sky Rush. If I had to rank them, my top three favorite there would be go Sky Rush, Wildcats Revenge, and then Candemonium.
Okay.
And the only reason Candemonium, it's one of their newer roller coasters. The only
Mhm.
reason I have that at 3 is because I only rode it, I think, once or twice. It's just usually when we go there, the line is so damn long. Like, all right, let's hit up the other rides first. And
Yeah,
by the time we're leaving, we're just like, all right, let's just go. So,
yeah. Yeah, I love that park. I haven't been there all year last year. I'm definitely going to, I told you I'm going to try to get down there with you guys one time this summer, get down there. But there's only one ride that I can't ride. I hate saying this. I'm like a squeamish bitch. I want to say that, when I ride this. I can ride any roller coaster, Ken, in the world. I don't care what it was. The day King the Kai opened, I was the 5th person in line, waited 4 hours in line to get on this damn thing because it kept breaking down. But the only ride I can't ride is that swinging pirate ship, Ken.
oh, yeah.
I can't do that. I throw up every time. I don't know why.
I love the pirate ship.
Oh, I
I
can't
do
do it.
just
Can't do
that
it.
feeling. I try to sit on the edge just because that feeling you get when you're all the
Oh
way up.
no,
Oh, it's
no,
beautiful.
no! I can't do it. I will not ride. That's the one thing I will not ride. Never. No, not me, not me, not me.
Well, that's the thing with I know people are here watching for Raiders stuff, but we're talking roller coasters. It's kind of like a Raiders. The Raiders are the last 25 years, whatever it is, 20 years. But the Jolly Rancher remix, I said I really enjoy riding my little
Mhm.
guy for whatever reason. When we're going backwards and we go through the first loop, I get like super like swimmy in the head where I feel like I'm going to pass out. But then I'm all right every single time I go on it. I go on it. 2 or
Right.
3 times when we're at the park because he likes it that much. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's something. We got a couple more comments here before
Mhm.
we duck out here. Eddie Prather said Henderson is brittle.
I wouldn't call him brittle. I mean, I think he's a committee back. I mean, I think last year he really was good because they had Junkins come from Ole Miss. I think that sufficed him. Took a lot of wear and tear off of him, but NFL's a different story. Just like with Jonte carrying that ball so many times, I'm curious to see what Henderson could be in the NFL.
Well, and if they're, for whatever reason the Raiders would take Trayvon Henderson, you have Raheem Mostert, who I believe is going to be like more of like a third down back and a back that takes us like every third series or whatever. You see some teams do that where you'll have your starting guy, first, second series, and all of a sudden in the third series you'll have that other guy that's your usual third down back take that series and then back to your other guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he's a first down, second down back, that's fine. You can bring in somebody else to suffice his time. I think that's cool.
Yeah. And so Eddie says Mbuke has an injury history.
He's played all games last season. I think he's a solid wide receiver. I mean, the biggest thing with him, you think about it, if Marvin Harrison wasn't there, Garrett Wilson wasn't there, he could have been a top 10 wide receiver the last 2 years coming out of the draft. I mean, he's just been behind Garrett Wilson. He's been behind Marvin Harrison Jr. He's always been the best wide receiver, but when you get another 5-star recruit coming in, that takes away from your name. He is a solid wide receiver. I have him possibly first round to the right team. I mean, he's that good. I like the kid. I really do.
Just don't like his mom.
I just don't like his mom. Was it? Whoa.
Michael
Whoa.
Michael said, Michael says if you're the Eagles, do you do this? A well-informed source says the Eagles would offer the Patriots wide receiver AJ Brown and draft compensation to move up to pick number 4 if Abdul Carter falls. Per Fitzy GFY, whatever the hell that is, insane. New England receives wide receiver AJ Brown, pick 32, and a 2026 second from Philly, and they receive Abdul Carter. Would you do that move? Man,
Okay. First, I'm going to tell you right now, Michael, you're reading into something that's not true. It's bogus material because on Twitter today, AJ Brown sufficed all the rumor bullshit today on Twitter. He actually had a jersey, a Patriots jersey, number 11, showed in the front of it, number 11 Patriots. And he said, guys, you're right. It's happening. I can't believe it. We're on the move. It's finally coming. Today's the day. And he laughs and he turns the jersey around as Julian Edelman. So don't read into that. There's no way. You guys are poised for the future. No, your offense is one of the best offenses in the NFL. I know Abdul Carter is generational. Don't read into that. There's no damn way. No. I can't see it. I can't. That's just me, though.
All right. I mean, it is definitely an interesting scenario.
It is, though. It is. But, I mean, do you give up the farm, one of your best wide receivers, 1,200-yard wide receiver for the last 3 years? Your player doesn't cause issues, a locker room guy, Jalen Hurts' best friend? I don't see that happening. I just don't.
But if they do, does A.J. Brown have to leave that book behind that he reads? I don't know.
I don't know. Wow.
It has to stay in the Eagles library.
You're right. I'm probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame one day, and he's not going to get that,
To be 100% honest with you, Paul, and if Hall of Fames are weird like that, where there is something of significance where for whatever reason becomes popular because for whatever reason, and it could be a book or it could be somebody wore a tape on their wrist and it said something clever or whatever, and they had a big game with it. Okay, we want that wrist, that tape or whatever. I could see that book probably already being sent to the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. This is the book that AJ Brown was reading on the sidelines during such and such game. It wouldn't shock me.
And hell, it went from Barnes and Noble's the #1 seller on Amazon, that week right after he read it. So man, I tell you what, that author got paid. I'll tell you that. All kudos to AJ Brown.
Michael also says, rumor is Philly, AJ wants more money is what he is hearing.
You know what? You guys have Howie Roseman. He's going to make things happen. He's going to find a way to back in that contract. Everybody's going to be happy. You're locked up for the future. Hate saying it, but you guys are in position to don't even worry about contracts. They're going to get signed. And when you're drafting, you're not drafting plug-and-play players. You're drafting depth for when somebody leaves. Howie's a genius. I wouldn't even worry about the money issue right now. I can't see it.
I agree too. It's they'll for whatever reason they'll find a way. Everything they touch seems to be turning to gold right now. So
I mean, last year you signed 3 offensive linemen back to back within 2 weeks, and that's over $150 million. And how the hell did you get this? Howie's a genius. He back into this. He back ends that. He incentive it. I'm like, well, why can't other teams learn how to do this?
Yep. I like the whole bonus thing, signing bonus thing is a huge thing too. A good way to it's a $100 million contract, but $60 million's signing bonus. So now it's a $40 million contract in your book. So I mean,
that's exactly what they did Dak this year. Yeah, they did that to Dak this year. They gave him a guaranteed $30 million added bonus on guaranteed money, brought him down to 60 to 30. We saved up $30 million on the cap this year, but. My God, why can't we just give people guaranteed money anymore? I don't care anymore. Just give him guaranteed money. If he screws up, he screws up. Hey, it's dead cap space next year. I'm not worried about it. Might as well.
That's what guys want too. They want that guaranteed. So Michael Papernick says the WWE Hall of Fame starts at 1 a.m. I know we were talking about that. We said 12. 1 a.m. Eastern time. So, and finally, last comment, so we can get the hell out of here. Well, we got 2 more. We got another one here. Eddie Prather says Io says that she's going to beat Rhea's and Bianca's ass. So we'll.
Damn right, she better. She better.
I'm rooting for Io as well. Crypto investor. Will Raiders take Armand Membu over Genti? So earlier we did talk
Mm,
about this a little bit earlier. Uh,
yeah,
my draft guru here, Paul, says he likes Will Campbell over
yeah,
Armand Membu anyway. So,
yeah.
um,
I mean, you're looking at what I said about Membu. He takes plays off. He needs to be, more. He struggles. He struggled against defensive ends, pass rushers that are quick. Will Campbell's a solidified guy. He's not going to have an issue. Do you really want to take a project in Membu there when he's the second best rated tackle? I go Will Campbell, plug and play for the next 10 years. I got to go Will Campbell.
I have to trust my guy. So that's what I say. I don't know a whole lot about the college ranks. So uh, in Paul, I trust.
But you know what, Ken? Anybody can have a show. I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I do a college show, so I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. So don't take my stuff with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
You know a whole lot more than I do. So I have to. I mean, it's like, you know, yeah. I mean, I don't even know what kind of pun I could throw in there, but there is one somewhere.
Yeah, but
Mike says,
don't even worry about that because Howie, you have Howie, and Howie we trust. I don't trust him, but I do trust him for your team. Very simple. Yeah. Oh
Eagle
God,
fans are
Howie
worried.
loves me.
Eagle fans are worried. They're worried.
Well, I hope.
And Evan checking in. What's up, Evan? One of the co-hosts of the Big Blue Power Hour says, please don't take Sanders.
Oh no, he's going to the Giants. You're taking him at 3. You guys are taking him at 3. Welcome to the Big Apple, Shador.
Well, so I don't know if this is true either, Paul. I did see something. Well, we're going to end on this then.
Mhm.
Speaking of Shador, I thought I read somewhere that they're pushing to have Shador's number retired at
Oh,
Colorado, and I guess the big thing
mm,
was that they never even retired Cordell Stewart's number, and he was a better quarterback than Shador was. So,
Ken,
what are your
do we
what are
have
your thoughts, Paul? What are your
Ken?
thoughts on this?
First, Ken, do we have another hour real quick? Because if you got me started with this, and I'm going to keep it very short. This is the most biggest bullshit I've ever heard and
So, is
seen
this
in my life.
factual?
It is factual. Him and Travis Hunter are getting their jerseys retired this season. You had a national championship guy, Eric Bieniemy, one of the best running backs ever in college. He didn't get his number. They outed him out. They didn't even want him to be a coach there, Ken. And you're going to give Shador Sanders on what, 2 years inside there having your jersey retired? And then Travis Hunter, 2 years? Ken, this is the most, to me, if I'm a legend that played in Colorado or a coach or a booster, screw this. It's because of his daddy, Ken. Daddy.
Cordell Stewart. I mean, like,
Slash. Remember him?
I mean, for
Slash. Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
The Hail Mary and
Yes.
I mean, so I think the problem was they were so used to winning only one game a season, Colorado, that after they won more than one game, they're like, Jesus, we need to retire these guys' jerseys. What
Oh,
Deion
God.
Sanders is the greatest coach since I don't know, somebody.
So that's just like saying if Dak Prescott gets out of the first round, we're going to automatically retire his jersey too. Like, really, Ken?
Win
Oh
that
my
one
God.
playoff game, that'll be it.
Yeah, win the one playoff game. You get to that second round, we're going to put you in the Hall of Fame Ring of Honor. But it's ridiculous, Ken. It really is. And that national championship team, they tied with Notre Dame that year. And that last year when they played Notre Dame and they got co-national championships. There's no way you retire this dude's jersey. I can't stand it. It's just, I'm not a smart guy, but I heard the word debacle. It could be something like that. This is total bullshit. It really is, Ken. God, I can't stand that. Wow.
And I think 99% of the country agrees with you. That college football fans agree with you. There's that 1% in Colorado that does not. So,
And I guess that's Deion Sanders, right? And Shador
absolutely,
Sanders.
absolutely. Deion Sanders. That's probably one of the things. Deion Sanders. I for some reason did he contract extension or something like that with Colorado?
Yeah, they just gave him 4 more years, and plus he just brought in Warren Sapp. He extended Warren Sapp for the defense side of the ball, and you know who their offensive coordinator, running back coach is now. You know who he is now, right?
No, I do not.
Marshall Faulk.
What the Falk?
The Faulk. Yeah, the Faulk. They brought him in. They're bringing name players in, and I tell you the reason why, Ken. The NIL deals has got out of hand. You know how I feel about that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Oh my God,
I
agree.
And they think that you're bringing these coaches, Hall of Fame players, Marshall Faulk, Warren Sapp, Deion Sanders. That is a recruiting thing, Ken. That's recruiting. To me, I don't give a damn about you get best recruiter players. You don't win shit. You don't deserve anything. You're number 3 or 4 in my book. And did you hear about this kid real quick? Nico, I'm not from Tennessee. Did you hear about this quarterback, Ken?
For a little bit, I've seen so many different things about it, like $1.8 million from Tennessee, and
He wanted a Bugatti. That was his contract. He wanted a brand new Bugatti, a 2025 Bugatti, as part of the NIL deal to reconstruct it. They said no. They said, see ya, get out of here.
Good for Tennessee. That's what I
Good,
say.
exactly. Move on. Move on.
Oh, and
Bullshit.
so I see. I said so. He wanted 4 million or something like that too,
Hmm.
or
Yeah,
whatever it was for from Tennessee, and then he ends up going to what, UCLA. I thought
that's
I
where he's.
read
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's what they're talking about right now. Their deal
Eh,
was on the table. Yeah. Hmm.
And then like the amount of money that he get after taxes was so much far
Yeah.
less than what he was going to get at Tennessee that he just cost
Mhm.
himself like $500,000 or something like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
The
Yeah.
NIL deal
It's
is out of hand. It really is out of hand. It's
it's
nonsensical.
it's ruined. It's ruined college, even high school sports nowadays. Can it's even
Yep.
ruined high school sports? It's something that we never thought we would ever see. Shit, my son got a 4-year scholarship to college. Going to school at Temple after playing football at prep. Man, he didn't get paid a dime. He didn't get paid a dime. Nothing at all. So I mean, this is bullshit. We played for the love of the game. Now it's all about show me the money, Ken. Show me the money. Who can offer me more? That's all it
Well,
is.
it's the NFL now. It's the NFL. It's
Yes.
you go to you get recruited by this school. Okay, now this school's offering me more. Okay, well let's go to this
Hmm.
school now. The
Yep.
transfer portal. I mean,
Yeah.
it is really is. Again, I don't watch a whole lot of college football, but I know a shit show when I see a shit show, and that's a
Yeah.
shit show.
You talk about NILs. Cooper Flagg played at Duke this year. He's a freshman sensation, player of the year. He made $7 million on NIL and deal with endorsements. He's not even going to make that as a number one player coming into the NBA this year, Ken. I mean, it's college, it's where it's at, but the first player ever to get an NIL deal, the first player ever, was a eighth grader going to Alabama. He got $2.1 million. Didn't even play it down in college yet. Bryce Young, as an eighth grader, Ken. An eighth grader, Ken.
That's insane.
Like, are you
Insane.
serious? Yeah, come on, man. Like, wow, wow. I'll play for a bag of peanuts and a scholarship.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe
And he says,
Nico. Yeah,
bleep Nico, and he also says for less than 2 million.
it's stupidity, man. But you know what? I think he'll get the Bugatti being in Hollywood. They'll give him, some dealership will say, hey, we want
Somebody
your
will.
name
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, of course, Hollywood. I mean, why not? But screw him.
It's all
Screw
about
him.
the flash.
Exactly, exactly. Something that I'll never have in my life. I'll put it that way.
All right.
You know.
So yeah, I don't even want ones, to be honest with you. So I mean, I'm cool with my
Yeah.
truck, my Tundra. I like my Tundra. So
Well, I want a Bugatti, Ken. I mean, I drive something that's
well, yeah,
not a
you're a
Bugatti.
fast car kind of guy. So
Yeah, I'm not driving a Bugatti, but at least I can do 150, maybe 143
yeah,
is my top of my car. Yeah,
I'm happy with 65. that's
60.
that's where
You're like
that's where
Dave.
I'm at.
You're like Dave, man. You're like Dave. But we were hitting 120, and Dave's like, I was like, Dave, how fast are we going? He's like, oh, 80. I'm like, take a look. He's like, oh, 120. Slow down. I'm like, Dave, I got like 5 inches to go on the pedal here, bro. We can go up to 140.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to watch that. I wouldn't be able to watch that. There would be no looking.
Yeah. But Ken, listen, I want to say thank you for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. I love talking college football, especially with, someone knowledgeable for a team. And I love talking about other teams. I really appreciate you having me hop on, man. I really appreciate that.
And I appreciate you hopping on. Maybe after the draft, we'll have you back on. We'll go
Mhm.
over what the Raiders picked and see what your thoughts on that are. And
Okay.
we'll give it we'll throw a grade
Yep.
at it or something like
Mhm.
that and see what sticks. Real quick before we hop out of here, support the channel. Hit the like button. Hit that heart button on the other social media platforms there.
Mhm.
Smash it, subscribe it, all that, the notification bell. You hit that damn bell so when you're like, oh, you forgot about the show being on, and all of a sudden it notifies you, oh shit, the show's on. So OOT Box Sports on X and YouTube.
Yep.
So again, subscribe, follow, like on Facebook, Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, and we appreciate it very much. Every one of our fans, we appreciate everybody that likes or subscribes to our channels, or even just pops in just one time and throws a comment out there. It's very much
Appreciate it.
appreciated. So,
Mhm. Yep.
so don't be afraid to share that shit out to friends that you know or whatever.
Mhm.
And anybody wants to start a show, you're looking, you
Yeah.
have a favorite team that's not covered here, or you want to hop on a show even. Like I have Paul on with me. And, hey, you're a Raider fan. So I
Mhm.
want to talk Raider. I want to show these guys what I know and my thoughts and whatever on this topic. Reach out to us. You know what I mean? Reach out to Paul. Reach out to myself. We'll get you on with one of us, or if it's another team that you want to hop on with, we'll figure something out. Or you want to start a show with a team that's not covered here, hit us up.
Yep.
We'll figure something out. Absolutely. We do wrestling as well. You're
Yep.
a wrestling fan. You want to hop on a wrestling show, hit us up.
Mhm.
We'll figure it out.
And
So
Ken, speaking of that, next Thursday night, just like you said, if there's any viewers out there that we didn't talk about your team, we don't talk about it. Next week at 7:30, we're going to be doing the first round live draft from 7:30 to probably 1 o'clock in the morning. You want to jump on, talk about your team? You don't have to stay on for the whole thing. Let us know. Reach out to one of us. We'll bring you on the show, man. We love talking sports, and it's what it's all about.
absolutely. You can check me out on X at SB_Lair_OOTBE. That's for my Raiders, silver and black Raiders, and silver and black LA Kings. That's my page there. So, Paul, what is your Twitter handle? Or your at OOT Box
Yeah,
Sports?
I run it. Yeah,
You run that.
I run out of the Box Sports OOT. And on there, it's Box Sports. Somebody who took Box Sports, be TPS, but it's OOTBOXSPORT on Twitter. I run that there, with a great group of hosts there as well. But Ken, I want to tell you something, man. I brought you aboard 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago now, right?
Something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
And this comment right here, Ken, right here, Out of the Box will soon be approaching 1,100 live shows. And it's the great host that we have, and it's the great viewers, that check into us. So I want to say thank you to our viewers, all of our hosts as well. Even though we never met, Ken, I feel like you're my brother, man. And, we talk all the time, and I just want to say thank you. We've taken this from nothing to something, and it's something we love doing. So you can't ask for more when you're with a great group of guys, that enjoy the same thing.
Keeps evolving, absolutely. So
yes,
yeah, it's awesome. 1,100 shows is just amazing. I don't think I don't know if you thought we were ever gonna hit that number or a number anywhere close to that. For me, I wasn't sure how far I was gonna be able to take. Once I first started out, I was brought into this. But yeah, here we are today. Who would have thought?
Coming from one show called Fight Club 215 with myself and Joey, doing it just every Thursday night, one time a week. And wow, that would only be 52 shows a year. And 3.5 years later, we're almost approaching 1,100 with, so many shows every day and more to come, of course. So, man, I never dreamed it. We don't make money off this. We don't. We do it for fun. We have fun doing it. We love talking sports, and it's just something that I enjoy doing. It keeps my mind right, Ken, especially with everything going on,
Yep. It's a break from reality. So.
It definitely is. Unless your team sucks like we've been for 29 years,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I know. Yeah.
All right. So again, one more time, join us tomorrow, pre-show, Atomic Drop, WrestleMania, 5:30 on Saturday, half hour after WrestleMania night one ends. We will be back for the post show. I will be on that one as well. I won't be on the pre-show, but I'll be on the post show. Yep. Sunday, 5:30 again, pre-show for night two. Half hour after night two ends, we will be live for a post show. So join us there. I know last year we had a lot of fun with it. Last year was a hell of a WrestleMania. I expect this year to be a hell of a WrestleMania as well. So
So you get me for the pregame, and you get you for the reaction show. So there we go. Tag team and everything.
And our cast of characters.
Oh boy, cast of characters we're gonna have on this show. Oh boy.
Our good friends there at Part-Time Marks. We'll have them with us, and I'm sure Cowboy Dave.
Yep, Eddie's gonna be on a couple times. Eddie won't be on Sunday, but he'll be on Saturday. Yeah.
Eddie will be out there chasing the Easter Bunny. So
yeah, he still believes in the Easter Bunny. And also, you know what? Hey, you know what, Ken? I forgot about that. From all of us, Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, wish you and your family a happy, safe Easter, and always thank you for your support. Ken, I want to wish you a happy Easter, you and your family. Become family to me. You and the kids have a great Easter, man. And don't eat too much damn candy, brother, because we're both losing weight like crazy. Okay, don't eat it, Ken.
I promise nothing on that. I promise nothing. It's Easter, candy will be eaten. So,
are you a Peeps guy?
Hell yeah.
Okay, I gotta admit, I'm on a 1,500 calorie diet, Ken. Yesterday I went to Walmart and they had watermelon, all these different flavors, and I try to fight myself and say no, but I don't know who the hell put them in my basket, Ken. I don't know who the hell paid for them. I don't know how they end up in a bag, and I don't know how they end up on my countertop. So Easter, I'm gonna have a little Easter celebration.
There you go. It sounds like a plan. Well, so real quick with the back on the Peeps thing. Years ago, I don't know how many years ago it was. When I used to work in a steel factory. The one guy said, "Hey, watch this," and he had a row of Peeps, and he put them in a microwave. And I tell you what? That little bastard, that Peep grew like 4 times the size. It was unbelievable.
Wait, You seen this live? This is not like a
I
TikTok thing.
there was no TikTok then. This is how long ago it was. It had to be 10,
Wait a
15
minute.
years ago.
Wait, he put them all in the microwave like a whole row, right?
Well, he put one in the microwave.
One.
He had a row. He took one off and he put it in the microwave, and that sucker blew up. I mean, it got like I swear to God, Paul.
What?
Jesus has risen. The thing got this big. I swear.
Did he put yeast in it or something? Can he?
No.
Okay,
No.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try this shit. That's my next TikTok video. Screw the duet singing karaoke shit. I'm doing a peep this weekend. I'm doing it this weekend.
I sat there. I watched it. He opened the package. He tore the peep off the end. Put it in my
Oh my
He goes,
God.
he said, "I'll do it in his voice." He goes, "Hey, watch this!" And I swear to you, the thing like quadrupled in size. Like what? I never seen nothing like that before.
How long did he put it in for?
I have no idea. I do not know.
Okay.
And then,
All right,
these are industrial size factory microwaves, so maybe that's a difference or not. I don't know what the wattage was. It got big. That's all I know.
Now you know I'm going to be doing this. This is the next TikTok video I'm doing. I could
think,
go viral, Ken. I can go viral with this one. You never know.
Be sure to follow Paul on TikTok, Paul Spencer on TikTok, or
Paul Spencer 215. Paul Spencer 215 at TikTok. Yep.
Share it to the Out of the Box Sports page as well if you get it.
I will.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you to Paul once again. Happy Easter, everybody. And be sure to tune in tomorrow night on the Atomic Drop for WrestleMania Talk. All right. See everybody later.